welcome back. Thank you all so much for being here. This is not SOS.
No, it is not.
Oh my god, my brain was like SOS. It's in Providence episode.
It's been many years, so.
I think we're on episode 8. I should know since it is episode 8.
Yeah, episode 8. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being patient. I had a power or weird the power went out earlier, and then work stuff for other people is whatever.
And we just needed to be friends for a second behind screen, y'all. So we got to talking too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I'm really not sorry.
No, me either. In fact, it made me want to keep talking. So,
hey!
We should do a podcast about what we're talking about.
Okay. Anytime you want. I got names for it.
No, just like a series. I pitched it to one of my friends earlier, and he was just like, I don't know if I want to. I'm like, I do. Yeah, we should. You know what, Dot? Let's.
Once you open that can of worms, can't go back.
I mean, it's true. I'm pretty open about my lifestyle. How about that? So.
Oh yeah. I mean, fucking yeah. Go listen to Chilluminati. You'll hear all about my life. But anyway, thank you guys for being patient. We're here. If you guys are new or just looking for to support us, we're gonna jump in, but I kind of know to get the shilling out of the way. Head over to patreon.com/podbynight, where you can get all of our bonuses, after shows. Is last week's after show up yet, Top? Because
it is not up yet. This is definitely I'm behind on getting after shows, but the episode is up. So we're caught up on episodes, but the after shows.
I watched the episode, but I was asking Mike about the after show because I'm like, I kind of want to watch the after show because I'm curious what you guys, because there was a lot that happened. I was curious.
Hey Mike, you're quiet again. Do that thing in Zoom. Check that bar.
Oh, does it automatically reset?
Yeah, you're just a little. It might. I don't know if there's a way to save your settings, but
hopefully it doesn't.
Smidge quiet today.
Audio settings.
He always sounds fine to me.
Yeah, it reset it back to.
Yeah. So, but the output for everybody else is.
Is that better?
That is better.
You're definitely louder.
That's better.
Yeah. Is it too loud?
I can adjust on my end to match all of it.
But for you guys, for you all
give us
listening.
a down just a smidge, just so you don't peak.
How's
if
that?
You do get loud.
I put about a.
That's
okay,
better.
cool.
That's better.
All right, yeah. Can we keep this? Can we save this, please?
I don't know. Ask Zoom.
Weird. Yeah. So there'll be last week's after show will be up there soon enough. And whatever ones also that are going to be up there. But last week's was like the first big one, and it was the first one where I got to watch theories start to crop up again, and it's been nice. Yeah, if you want all the extras,
that's why I wanted to watch it. I was like, I'm curious what the theories are, especially with like David stuff. I'm like,
well, yeah, Betty, you'll find out today about exactly what went down. But yeah, that's a good way to support us, kind of going above and beyond. Otherwise, you can just kind of follow us over at youtube.com/podbynight, where all the VODs are going to go up from here on out for this show. And if you want to subscribe here at twitch.tv/podbynight, you'll get yourself some emotes, access to the VODs immediately if you don't want to wait for them to go up to YouTube. All that other, benefits of being a Twitch subscriber. And our Discord, jump into that. That thing is totally free to jump into. I imagine we are, if we haven't yet, we're close to over 1,000 now, because we were close last time, and I've seen a bunch of new people jumping in lately.
We've had a lot of new people hop in, which is really dope to see. So thank y'all. In fact, I just want to shout out our YouTube numbers. Watch for this show have been really great. So all of you folks out there on YouTube watching, we love you too. We see you. Yes. Yeah. Y'all been leaving some dope comments. You should go read some of what people have been talking about. That we haven't gotten to y'all's theories yet. Y'all haven't started with those in our comments, but y'all have thrown out some pretty fun stuff. So
I try to go in there and respond when I have time.
Same.
Other than that, I think that's it. Good to see you again, Tracy. By the way, you're muted.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go and say Dot. Oh no, Bub. You know what? We never do Bub. Bub, recap us. What happened last week?
Oh man.
Wait. This is to give everybody. I'm purposely. Bub is not fully awake, so I'm absolutely trying to fuck him over right now.
Oh yeah, he's succeeding. He's succeeding.
What a teacher move of you.
Yeah.
Wake up, Davids.
Yeah.
Jeez, stop it. I was in trouble for a second. I need like a launch point if I can get there were a couple of things.
What
right
happened last week?
We saw. If I'm thinking very like David colored tinted glasses here, you get to witness a lot of things firsthand that were not thrilling for him. He got to, I feel like he finally got to see a little bit of Janet's colors. And Janet's not entirely nice, right? Not an entirely nice person. Particularly, she seems nice to David. She also seems very nice to Elspeth, but to her sons, right, to the boys, it's weird. It's not entirely violent, but it's not entirely safe either. It's very difficult to explain. You kind of have to watch the last episode.
Yeah, I probably should have said opened up with having Tracy recap, because we did kind of open up with Tracy last episode.
Yeah, I was about to say we started with some stuff going on. Yeah, in Salem.
Elspeth definitely has a uncomfortable
Tracy takes
feeding.
notes, so.
Yes. We did, yes, the uncomfortable feeding, which did happen a bit later in the episode.
We'll get to that. But yeah, we got to see the real reason Patana are a problem.
Yes. The start of the episode, we were in Salem, and Elspeth had a bit of time with her companions and her sire, and we worked a bit on her disciplines of oblivion with her sire Annika, where Annika was like, show me what you've been learning, and I attempted to summon a spirit within our shop, and I failed in front of Annika. However, took a bit more time to read and study, got a little advantage on my next dice roll, and I tried again and succeeded. And I got to see Florence, Dorothy, Silas for a brief moment. The resident ghost of the Nightshade in Bloom. She showed her face in ways that wraiths do, and spirits do. So that was cool.
Yeah, we got to finally see, and Annika was not disappointed, but you took her as disappointed, if I remember correctly.
I think Elspeth always projects how she's feeling onto her sire, not knowing what her sire, may or may not be disappointed, angry, etc., etc. Case in point, when David arrived with Janet the next night, Elspeth was freaking out because she's like, oh my gosh, my sire's gonna be mad. And David went and talked to my sire, and she did not really seem mad. So this is how it is. But yes,
David he did tell you, though, he shouldn't be around here.
Yes.
Am I correct in assuming so that not many people talk to Annika?
No, she doesn't really get out much.
Okay, so not only does she not talk to a lot of people, it was supposed to have been that David was supposed to stay away, but he just kind of walked in regardless of what everybody else wanted. That's why I'm still lingering on the hope that there is more going on with Annika than we currently see, because if she's so recluse, right, like so staved off to the world, like how is David just waltzing in and like getting a free audience with Annika? There's a lot more there going on, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we got a peek as to why I think Elspeth is seen as the golden child as well. The amount of dedication she puts in, and kind of like
she studies,
how much she self-flagellates if she fails.
Oh.
Yeah,
literally. Yeah.
She's a learned
student
lady.
too. So
a learned lady.
She's a learned student. Just thinking of Matt, the last episode when you were like the school girl, and you were like, "This sounds weird."
I was laughing at that.
No,
not to bring that up again, but that
I
was
forgot
funny.
about that. And that's one of those things that just like
weird.
the minute I said it out loud, I was like, "That fucking Christ, that does not sound good at all."
Well, your second one after that didn't work either.
Yeah, in the end, we
remember what it was.
Forward, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I remember seeing Schoolgirl and being like, nope, that's not what I wanted at all. We got to see Ivy as well, right? And
Briefly.
David, walking in with his new fancy duds. He spoke to Annika and walked away with more questions than answers, I think, for David's sake anyway. And then
we drove off. We picked up a body from the morgue because Janet was out of food.
That's right.
We kind of pontificated about what the hell we're going to do with the new information that we've received, specifically in trying. Janet is very clearly attempting to gain information around the body, Mutt's body, and what happened in the crime scene after the cameras were turned off. She's trying to figure that piece out. Then we decided everybody was hungry. This is when the tables turned, okay? When everybody was in the car and we were like, well, what are we going to do next? Everybody's like, I don't really give a fuck. I'm hungry. And Janet was like, well, I have an idea. But David's like, but I don't know what to eat. And Janet says, well, let me take you somewhere where there is a buffet and you shall be able to choose based upon your liking. And there would be something hopefully for, Elspeth as well. So we go to a giant statue garden, basically in the middle of Boston, where there's enough foot traffic, but these are often forgotten peoples that walk amongst a place like this late at night. And David, you know what? You do the part where you did the feed. You do it.
Sure. Sure. Well, I mean, I would love to, but I didn't. That was Mathis. Mathis did the part about feeding.
Oh, you roll. Well, yeah, because you basically a feeling rose of what was representative of David's beast.
Yeah.
And there was an opportunity to it wasn't a frenzy, but it was because you were at 3 hunger, there was this feeling of you could give in and let it hunt for you, essentially, or follow its sway. And when you did, nobody else noticed, but your posture changed ever so slightly. And while they kind of saw the back of your head, you walked over to somebody and, as the children say, laid on the riz. Walked away out of sight, out of camera, and fed. And when we saw David again, she was still alive. You fed down to 1 hunger, but fed 1 extra than you needed to for the sake of gluttony because of the beast.
And he carried her back.
Carried her back.
Masquerade breach.
Carried her back. Complete panic. Because you described basically her enjoying the feeling of the bite as something traumatic to Janet and Elspeth, who were waiting for you as it was done.
Yeah, we helped you return her home because we're not going to leave this poor woman alone in the park at night. And tried to show David like there can be some humanity in the feeding process. Whether he bought it, Bub, did he buy it?
I mean,
we'll find out.
yes and no. I think David is shaken not by the fact that it was. Like her response, right? The body trembling. It was bizarre. Like it was a foreign experience. It's very alien to him. What was hard for him to grasp and actually swallow onto was how easy it was. That like to just remove the consent from someone and take them against their will. Like that was just too hard for him to kind of like really like bite onto. And that's where he struggled with that mostly, I think.
Yeah. And you brought it, like you said, you brought it back to safety, and then
we went back to
Tracy had to eat.
Janet's place because she
and
said,
Janet had to eat.
well, technically, we have a dead body that we desperately need to do something with and get out of this van. And 2, Elspeth needed to feed in a secure location, and she has 2 strapping young boys at home. And so Janet offered,
One of her sons.
Which was happily sleeping to meet accommodation. And
Not for
I
long.
had a second son to hold him down when things got painful.
Dice said fuck everything that particular feeding.
Yeah.
Everybody who needed to
It
roll
made it great,
failed.
though.
And Elspeth, you were there. What happened?
He woke up and frenzied because he's a ghoul and ran and got away. Well, not like got away, but I didn't
He
get
ran
to
to the front door, attempted with all of his might to escape, and Janet
comforted him.
You know what, Tracy? That's the perfect. She comforted him back to sleep and told him that the next time he was going to lay there and let this happen. But then Elspeth and David had a conversation in the library that Janet just kind of eavesdropped on. Y'all remember that?
Yes. David coping with his feelings or struggling with his feelings really on feeding, and we talked about it, and Janet was eavesdropping a bit on
it inspired Janet, we'll say, and she had a better idea to help Elspeth feed in maybe a more long-term solution instead of a short-term one, and they left, leaving David. Janet was looking at David and said, "You're in charge of the house while I'm gone. We'll be back before the door's locked. You got this." And tried to, give him some space.
It went smoothly. Nothing else happened. Everything was good.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. That's fine.
No, David followed some bizarre internal directive. I can't even quite understand how. I don't even know if he's really grasped onto what's happened.
Yeah.
But he kind of moved and meandered around the library to find the right type of lighting to produce a silhouette of himself on the floor. When he became settled with one, he focused on the spots of where eyes should be. He uncorked the glass vial, removing the heads of dandelions, placing them in the eyes, and it initiated a ritual which allowed him to not necessarily communicate right now, but to see through the eyes of someone or something else. And the vision was of someone standing over the woman that he had just fed upon, saying, "Sorry, bud, this one's for you." And then they shot the woman twice in the head. Very similar to how we saw Mutt die.
But the scene prior to the firing was consistently shifting.
Yep.
The stairwell
Yes.
was there or it wasn't. The railing was changing. Everything about it was changing until the gun was shot. And that's where the episode ended.
That is correct.
So, without further ado,
Was
Boy.
wild.
Yes.
rein things in, set the scene, and see what our kindred have been up to. And I will first say, everybody go ahead and make your episode healing rolls for those of you who need to make
How do we do that
get
on
your
the
will.
demi-plane sheet?
Good effing question. Let me open that. Oh, you said you fixed the demi-plane sheet, right? Like
Yeah,
it
so the
rolls
demi-plane
now?
sheets, you can roll from them. We got it working last week, and the rolls are now showing up correctly on my end. So whatever the issue was, we've
Awesome.
solved. But how?
I don't know how you heal this.
I don't think there is
It
the
might
way
have
there
to
is
be
on
a
the
manual.
Roll21.
It would have to just be a manual rouse roll then, right? How do we? How would we roll it?
So you heal half your willpower.
You basically just have to do the math
Do the
manually,
math
kind of
manually.
thing.
Yeah.
So half.
Yeah.
Sounds painful.
Okay, so
I
got
know.
that.
Or it's
Almost as painful as
it's not half your
Elspeth
willpower. It's what
eating.
half your
It's
Will- composure or resolve?
resolve, whichever is higher is how. Like it's basically the
Half of
50
that.
Yeah,
Okay,
half,
yeah.
So it's basically half of their total. So.
and then you can everybody rouse to wake up.
Oh,
where did we leave? Where did
we
we
left
leave
in
off
the middle
Betty,
of
by the
the.
way?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm hungry.
Oh Jesus Christ, Betty!
So is it a new night? Because we're still dry. We were headed to that location.
You're headed back.
Yeah. So yeah. Or no.
No, you weren't heading anywhere because we ended the scene with him seeing the vision.
They had got
They were leaving.
They were
They had
leaving
left.
the building.
They were already in the car.
To go where?
Janet
to
was taking me
to
somewhere.
go feed.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
She
yeah.
was gonna solve this
So
problem
no, it's
before
not.
night
Yeah,
end.
we're gonna do that. We'll do that. Yeah, first.
Yeah.
But I just where was Betty doing anything in particular while this night was happening? Or is she kind of just like doing her normal shit?
Well, the last of it was Leon and I.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that because Leon and I chatted about the situation, I'm assuming that Leon and I were doing our thing, investigating.
Yeah, you
further.
probably spent the night there, safely as well. But yeah, so you spent the night with Leon. I can't give you anything without Leon here technically.
Yeah, we can do like
yeah,
a
we can do that. That's fine.
flashback
So yeah,
some other time.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So that makes it easy. So we'll stick in this night. We will open the scene. Then I will take the narrative from here. Then as we move into the world, the echo of the gunshot is in our ears, distant but still audible. And as the gunshot rings and goes silent, our vision seems to be coming down from the city skyline of Boston into the road, where we follow and hear a familiar-looking vehicle with who's driving, Elspeth or
Janet. Well,
Janet,
as long as
okay.
Elspeth would allow me to. Well, no, we'd have my car because we went home, so we'd be in my vehicle. This is important. We'd be in my vehicle, and we do. We go into downtown to what would probably be considered like a private research hospital, like a nice kind of expensive one. This is not the city hospital, so and Janet pulls up, and we park and get out. This next part's gonna be weird, so just go with it, okay?
Okay.
Just go with it, okay?
What kind of weird are we talking here?
Come on. And I'll kind of take her hand and I'll walk you from wherever we are on the deck straight in. She doesn't go to the hostess at the front. She clearly knows where she's going. She goes straight to the elevator. And she hits a button and takes you up a couple floors. And as the elevator ride goes up, she goes, "Look, you're gonna have to trust me."
Okay.
And as the elevator door opens up, it opens up to a really quiet level of the hospital. Not ICU. You do hear the occasional light of a kind of flicker of a monitor, but you probably see a sign somewhere that says comatose ward.
Is that you're not breathing it in, but you're kindred. But if you were to breathe it in, that stale hospital air would be.
And this is clearly
all you
not,
have.
not one of the nicer areas. This is, it's where people are forgotten. And Janet kind of says, she waves and clearly knows the person behind the desk. Like there's a familiarity there, and Janet kind of nods back. And I look at
You hear as you walk up to the door without even looking, you hear the as it unlocks, and you kind of just walk through.
Yeah. Lets us in. Still obviously like stale quiet. Janet goes, "Okay, so you kind of have your pick."
Has Elspeth, do you think, picked up on what's happening here?
Yes. She has definitely picked up on what is happening. And I think she kind of stands for a moment. Her hunger is quite high at this time, so I don't think she has time to really sit and think on this. She just really wants to feed.
I will politely wait.
What's your hunger at? What's your hunger at right now?
3.
3? Okay. Yep,
Yeah.
you're super hungry for sure. Let me. I'm gonna look up something.
I maybe as you go, did you pick a room? Like, did you just pick somebody?
Yeah, we should take like a couple. She doesn't want to go like to the first room that she sees, but she'll
Sure.
walk down a bit.
Like a couple hallways into these rooms where, of course, the beds are like lined up, right? And right before you enter the room, Janet says, "I'm gonna stay in the hallway, but if you kill anyone, I will replace their body with yours. Do you understand? Permanently."
I understand what you're saying.
Wonderful. Have fun.
Okay. Thanks. And she'll just go in. She's not going to ask any questions. Janet just said, trust her.
I was about to say, get your hunger dealt with, and then I can talk to you.
She thought about it and just like had a hesitation for a moment, but then just walks into this room.
And it is utterly silent other than the machines that are kind of going, and TV in the corner that is playing at a very, very, very low volume that is currently just playing a paid infomercial at this hour. You see a guy looking, it's a wham wow. It cleans really well.
As Elspeth stands in this room, this hospital room,
yep.
She has a bit of a flashback moment to her past, as she's been in a hospital room before several times. And it reminds her of some things that have happened in her past. And
you see, like, do we see her hesitate? Is she like walking up and then kind of stops? Is she just, or is it more she's walking without much hesitation, but this is very much lingering in her mind?
She walks and it is lingering in her mind.
Okay.
I think actually before she walks up to a person here, she looks around the room at the walls to see shadows.
Do you have sentient scene on?
I do not. As
you have that ability?
As I've decided to play Hekata in hard mode. and
What do
not
you
pick up
have? I'm
Sense the
sorry.
Unseen. I did not pick up Auspex because
Okay.
which
fair.
was a mistake by me. But although
But I
many of the,
haven't.
I was going to say others in the party do have Auspex. I was like, oh, I had Auspex for like all of SOS. I want something different.
Gain access to it before it's
but I
over.
will.
You'll be
I will,
fine.
But I really should have gotten Sense the Unseen because of my other abilities.
So you got what? Where the veil thins. You have some. You
Yes.
do have some in spirit, but that takes time.
It does. Okay.
What, like 10 minutes? How long?
The thing with Elspeth and hospitals is that she's afraid of the ghosts that linger in hospitals.
Sure.
Because of her history. So
Yeah.
she's just afraid of upsetting anybody here. Not
You can- you
anybody
can-
in the
Does
physical realm.
Janet notice you like hesitating?
Well, we'll see. We'll see what she rolls. I think to see if she.
If she actually can pick up on it, yeah.
Yeah, because so if you're afraid, then you're probably not actively using any disciplines to see anything right now.
Yes.
Because you don't want to see anything. And the fact
Yes.
that you do not have Sense the Unseen, which is a free power that could be, I could use to force you to see something you do not have.
Mhm.
What I could do is still make you make just like a composure resolve check to see if you can kind of just keep yourself still and calm.
Yes.
Not because you're nowhere near, I don't think, fear frenzy because you won't see anything in particular.
Yes. Let me composure resolve. Okay.
Oh wow,
roll.
there's blood dripping down on this character sheet. What is this? This fucking character sheet's all extra.
Oh yeah, I put you. You can put little skins on your character sheets. Everybody.
damn,
They have little like custom different ones that you can.
Jesus
put on.
Christ, 8 successes. What the fucking Christ?
I have a lot of composure and
You do.
resolve.
That's like that's true. You literally roll a fucking dice pool of 7 for this thing. So
Yep.
and you rolled almost all
Wow.
successes. Janet, you wouldn't know a thing. This is probably very much just in her own head. She's looking around, but you remind yourself, like, you've talked to Annika about it. I mean, hell, you've spent the past year of your life dedicated to it more directly than you've ever have when you were even a ghoul. The spirits, while they may be everywhere, are not visible unless only those who are attuned to that world. And while you are attuned, you're not actively attuning yourself to there by doing the abilities that you could do. Unless you want to see ghosts, but you're not.
Yes. So yeah. So Elspeth is just kind of looking around. She's getting
Nervous.
a little nervous, but she keeps her composure.
Mhm.
And the
And her resolve.
hunger, yes, and the resolve, and the hunger persists. So she walks toward one of these bodies laying on one of the beds and
It's
looks
a room
down
with-
at them.
3 different individuals. They are all of older age. Do you care if it's male or female, Elspeth? Or are you just coming to the one that's closest?
Just whomever is closest.
Okay. Yeah, it's just an older, portly gentleman who's just laying there in a coma with, kind of all the wires and to feed him oxygen and all this stuff that he normally would. You walk over, you just kind of take a knee or like bend down over. And is there any hesitation at all? Or is it very clinical for Elspeth?
There's a slight hesitation there for sure, thinking about what she's about to do. And she's not fed on. She's not fed on somebody in this state. Definitely other states, obviously the sleeping state, but this is different. So she takes a moment. I think she thinks about David and the conversation that she just had with him, and like if he was here, what would he think? So there's that hesitation, but then she needs to do what she needs to do. She's at Hunger 3, so she does it.
And I'm just gonna make a roll real quick.
Man, I feel like this is like
as you bite, you brace, you get extremely, I bet you, like a little worried of what's gonna happen, but as you sink your teeth in, there is no immediate reaction. However, Janet, you would notice, and I don't know if you would be focusing on it right now, Elspeth, but the machines that are tracking their pulse, the pulse increases when the bite occurs.
Oh Lord. Okay.
You drink?
Yep.
2 dots. And as she drinks, the heart rate would slow as the blood is being removed. And as you pull your fangs out and they slide back into your gums up effortlessly, and you lick the wound close and you stand back, he lies there, not a sound having been made.
Well, it's done. I don't know if Elspeth feels guilty by this. I think there is probably some guilt. She just looks at the body.
What's your humanity?
It's at 7. Oh, I'm so pure. Humanity 7. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, man, everybody's high except for like Janet, I think.
Yeah, I'm
Janet's
like,
6.
we don't want to talk about what Emmy was.
No. Emmy was a special case.
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, do I take a stain from this? Like, this is kind of fucked up.
That's literally what I'm looking at right now. Because my gut is to make you take a stain, but I want to not fuck you over for the sake of fucking you over.
I'm just saying, what is the difference? But I mean,
it's the humanity is what makes the difference, and that's purely
I see
it.
Yes, I got you.
Because the lower humanity, the less likely you are to take a stain for this stuff.
Yeah.
But isn't it if she rolls a 1 or an 8?
Embrace,
that's only for Oblivion.
Bonding. Touchstone damaged, prices, humanity drops. Yeah, technically by rules, I don't think so. But if I will say I won't put it on you. But if you believe Elspeth would take one from this, you may willingly take one on. Just one. I wouldn't. Obviously, no more than that.
Yeah.
Only because you're at 7. I'd say at 6, this doesn't matter as much. But
right.
7 is the only where you're at where this is kind of a iffy thing to do, because you now know what you know what you're doing.
Yeah. It's
at least the other people can fight back.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is her first time doing something like this. She's still rather young and new to this. I don't think I'm gonna have her take a stain for it, but it'll weigh on her.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll weigh on her. So
Janet, you watch her drink, and there's no hesitation from Janet's perspective. She stands. She maybe for a moment she looks down to make sure he's not waking up, but Elspeth, you eventually turn around. Janet's just waiting there.
All done?
All done.
You feel better?
Physically, yeah.
Well, good. I can't do anything about your other feelings. Come on, we're not done yet.
Oh?
Yeah, and Janet will kind of walk you back into the main area, maybe down like a different section of the ward, into another room. As you walk in, you realize that this person is in this room alone, and it's a much nicer room. There's probably maybe a larger window that faces the rising sun, so, east. Nicer furniture. It feels a little bit cozier, cared for, much less like the other ones. And there's a woman, older grade woman, laying in the bed. And Janet says, come on, close the door behind you.
She does.
Have a seat.
She sits, looks around.
Janet goes over and for a moment breaks into a maternal instinct and kind of brushes the hair from this older woman's face where it's just been disheveled sitting in the bed, and she checks her up and down, and she sets her purse down and she goes in and rummages for a tube of lipstick, and she kind of dabs it on her finger and puts it on the woman's lips, and as she does, she kind of begins to talk. She breaks out some red fingernail polish, and you can see her begin to remove the old stuff that's grown over time where the nurses have cut it down to nubs, and she kind of begins at the beginning, and she says, my husband donates to the hospital annually. It's a good tax write-off. But there are bigger reasons for that, specifically her. That's my mother.
That's your mother?
That's, flesh and blood, honey. She's been in a bed for about 25 or 30 years. Wrong time, wrong place, they said. I was just a kid. So I learned to take care of myself pretty quickly. to be able to pay her bills so that she could sit in a room like all those people. Just a number on a clipboard. I used to call this place purgatory. So when Antonio, and she kind of begins painting her nails, right? A fresh coat of red. She says, when Antonio picked me up and asked me to be his wife, I told him I'd do it under one very specific condition, which is that he would donate to the hospital and they would dedicate a single room with a window to her. Any questions?
I'm really sorry, Janet.
Oh, that's okay, honey. Can't control everything, right?
You visit her often?
When I need to. You're the only other person, other than her nurses, of course, that have been in this room but me in decades. So, you know, that means nobody knows this information. Except for you.
And
So,
nobody will.
well, I guess we'll know if somebody else finds out, won't we?
It's interesting, Janet. Maybe this catches you off guard, or not off guard. It wouldn't, but would stick out to you. It goes to show how I think young or naive Elspeth is, because you're like, nobody knows except for you, and she just simply took that as like a friendship thing, and anyone else hearing that from your lips would have taken that as a almost like threat slash whatever, and Elspeth was like,
warning.
yeah, a warning, exactly. But Elspeth did not read it as that, and that would be something I think Janet would pick up on at the very least.
Just, you know, technically I have a little sway here, so if you're having a tough time, we can come and go. They trust me, right? So, I mean, it's not like anybody else on this floor ever gets visitors. I'm the only outside person that ever talks to these nurses, so everybody treats me with a little bit of respect. So as long as you do the same, we shouldn't have a problem.
It's sad.
What is?
Nobody comes here.
Why would they? You know, it wasn't until after I got turned that I actually felt comfort in this place. They're just like us. All those people caught between life and death. Not alive. Not dead. Just stuck. It's kind of like being amongst your own kind. The difference is they're a lot quieter.
It is a weird purgatory, you're right. I don't know how I feel about it. Somebody who deals with death a lot.
Why, does it not comfort you?
No, in general, hospitals don't bring me a lot of comfort.
Oh, they don't bring me comfort either, if it means anything. Dare I ask what happened to you? Since we're sharing and all that. She moves to the next hand.
Well, I have seen a lot of people die here, including my family.
I'm sorry.
It just makes me wonder, when people in a hospital do die, what happens to their spirit? Is it angry? Is it sad?
I imagine
Is
there's
it happy?
a little bit of all of it. Honestly, the people in this ward, you think their souls want to stick around, honey? They've been stuck here for decades, lost and forgotten. They don't have any unfinished business. They just want to leave. So down here, the idea of ghost is almost laughable if you think about it.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it that way.
Now, I mean, not that I know anything about spirits. Like I said, I don't know. Sometimes when I need a quiet place, I come here. You know, I zhuzh her up, I paint her nails. She'd be so pissed if she saw how short they were.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I would be happy to come with you again if you ever wanted some company.
That's very kind of you. I mean, it's not a whole lot to do here. I don't usually stay for very long. It's a little bit of a risk, you know. But it's as much of my home growing up as anywhere. Lots and lots of days after school spent in one of those rooms, just sitting in silence. Anyways, if you're done, she's pretty much done. And she'll kind of brush her hair and kind of clean her up a little bit. She's well taken care of. This is, I don't think this word like abuses people, right? But it's definitely densely packed. And her mother has the right accommodations, and she makes sure, she goes ahead and opens the window, knowing that the sun will come up in just a few hours. And she says, we have to get back before the door is locked. We promise, David. And for some strange reason, we have not heard from Betty in a few nights, which makes me a little nervous, considering how frequently she was showing up on a regular basis. She was real upset about that Mutt guy. What did you know about him? You met him before all the gangs and the gunshots and the thumb drives.
I think they were friends, or like, a contact of hers. So I'd be pretty upset too if a friend of mine died.
I don't have many friends, so and if my contacts die, I just go find a better one.
Yeah, we should probably go back. But thanks, Betty. Oh my God, Betty. Thanks, Janet. I keep doing that. Thanks, Janet.
You're welcome. And I'm sorry to hear about your family. It's tough when it's just you, right?
Yeah. But making do.
Yes, we are. All right. Let's go to the car. Is there anything else we needed to do? I'd really just like to stay inside like for a whole night. That'd be just to put my feet up. Plus, I got a whole body I gotta cook. Want some Jello?
Jello sounds good.
Okay.
You make your way out, and eventually into the car, and you drive back to your place. Now, before we get there, I do want to get this done. I know it's not till the next night, but Maggie, I just need to know: is Betty going to feed and just see what happens, or with 4 hunger? Because you're at 4 hunger, which means you're going to make a hunger frenzy check, which just means you might kill somebody if you fail. Up to you, or would you would understand how hungry you are? Would you go to Janet's and have somebody look out to try and stop you in case you do get frenzy? I don't know if Betty gives a shit enough. If a mortal dies, a mortal dies. Oh well.
I think she does care.
What's your humanity at for Betty?
7.
Okay, yeah, she's a higher humanity than I. Yeah, oh yeah, she was still kind of care.
Betty has a softness to her. She just doesn't like when people are controlling. It is
that works for me.
Yeah.
So then what I will say then is we are going to move to the next night because David, David is going to be seeing whatever he's seeing that leads right into him going into torpor for the day. Like it's like the tail end of the night is when you do that dandelion thing, and then it lasts until sun comes up and you're forced into torpor. So the next evening comes around, everybody rouse checks if you're unless you already did for this evening. I think Maggie already did.
I did as well.
Okay, cool. Everybody else, though?
I just fed.
I know. Isn't that so Elspeth, you failed, and so did Dot. So what do you guys, what's your hunger? Obviously 2 for both of you.
2 for me.
And
1.
for 2? Okay, and 1 for the 1 and 4 for the other one. So as the evening comes around, and our quick cuts of just like the Dolly Parton theme track, things getting ready, doors unlocked. That's kind of just like how it goes.
The morning routine.
Yeah. We Betty would probably be there very, very early, maybe earlier than normal, because being on 4 hunger is like impossible to focus on anything else, Betty. So would that be the case? You think Betty would be like right there, or would she still be?
I think Betty is like at her door, like jittery, kind of pacing.
I was imagining you knocking on it before it even unlocked. You were just like,
yeah.
But you're waiting.
She's
you're
probably
waiting.
like muttering something. Like she just looks like a crazy old person that's like
absolutely
pacing in front of your doorway.
The people who do walk by you kind of just like side eye you, and keep their distance. And as soon as the doors unlock, either Betty opens it or one of the sons who was there and knew somebody was there. Either way, opens immediately.
I'm hunger 3 for correction. It doesn't auto increase your hunger, so I am at 3.
Okay, you're at hunger
when you
3.
roll,
okay,
like
cool.
the old sheet would auto increase, it doesn't auto increase for you. So.
Okay, good to know.
So I was at 2. I'm now 3. So sorry to interrupt.
Janet, you're prepped, obviously, but it's very rare. Maybe, I mean, maybe it's happened a couple times, but Betty is through the front door before you can even go say hi to David or hi to. Well, Elspeth, did you go back home or did you stay here?
I would have probably stayed here.
Okay. Yeah, before you could go see any of them, the door opens and Betty is walking in, and you immediately would recognize she's not carrying herself normally.
I probably went to Leon first, but he wasn't there.
Yeah, he would not be there.
And
what is this?
Janet or Betty, once she sees like the door open, she kind of just like looks at you. Her eyes are a little like intense, and she's like,
"I'm full on redlining, Janet. If someone sneezes too loud, I'm going to take it as a personal insult and eat their lungs."
Okay, all right. It's okay.
The beast, it's humming.
Would you like some lung? I just cleared one from a body downstairs.
I don't think you're an organivore, so it won't do anything for you.
What? How can I assist you, Betty?
I think we may need to do a little of what we did.
You hear Elspeth
Oh, wait,
kind of coming up.
yeah.
No, maybe Elspeth probably prepped for the day and she comes walking out.
Elspeth would say something.
Yeah, and so she walks out.
I can help you, Betty. Because we kind of have a similar thing. We like not that way. Janet, don't worry. Like,
okay,
won't
in
be
what
screaming
way?
pain.
Oh,
Like-
okay. So they need to be asleep. Well, if everybody will keep their voice down, my son's been jacked up on sleeping pills all night and warm milk. You can go feed on him.
I was gonna say I can help.
Betty just storms right in.
Just escort her. Oh Lord, go Elspeth.
Well, luckily the Ravnos bite doesn't hurt.
She leaves
so.
the shopping
Yeah.
cart even.
Yep.
Just more if she doesn't, so she doesn't drink.
Yeah, you need to watch her.
Get dry.
And don't wake him up, or it doesn't wake. Oh God.
So Betty's teeth are already slid out as she's going for the bite, and you need to make me a hunger frenzy check, Betty.
Oh God, what do I roll for that? I've never done this before.
I don't know how to do it on the new sheet.
Oh,
I'm not on the new sheet. I'm on the old one. So
yes, I believe. Hold on.
On the old sheet, I don't know. either,
Let me
to be honest
think.
with you.
There
Open
should
this
be resist frenzy
Resist
under
frenzy.
willpower.
Yep.
oh, under willpower, I see it. All right, here we go. I don't have a modifier.
No.
Oh shit, that's a lot of
really
dice.
bad.
Can you re-roll failure dice with willpower?
I don't
No?
think so.
Not on a
Oh,
frenzy.
I
Hunger.
remember. I
That's
remember
an
we had
insane
that
amount
SOS.
of dice to fail.
That
Also,
is
your
pretty
hunger's
high.
not showing up, Maggie. Oh, I guess it doesn't roll hunger for the frenzy.
Not
though,
for
does it?
frenzy.
No, yeah, it's pure willpower. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. You drink. One
Oh, boy.
hunger,
Oh boy.
2 hunger. And it's about this point, whoever's watching would realize she's not stopping. So how
Betty?
do you want to stop her?
I do imagine the other twin is there.
If the other twin is there, then he would immediately just do a opposed strength brawl check
Just grab.
from between Betty and him.
They technically would have got up there to do shift change, if you would, for the day. Since that poor kid had a traumatic evening.
Yes, I would probably go to him and let him
1,
know to try to
2,
help.
3. All right, 4 successes for his strength brawl.
Betty's red line.
Yeah, let's see what Betty might just be jacked, dude. Jenny's
No, I'm not really. Well, I don't know. What do I need? I need to roll strength brawl.
Yeah, post strength brawl. You're going
I'm
into
not
pure
that strong.
frenzy
I'm
mode.
not that. So you're gonna be
Just a
okay.
little old lady.
If it's more dexterous
I
stuff, that's
mean-
where I'm good.
Hey, you could have critted and it would have been you would have been but yeah, still. So as you're feeding, you just feel 2 hands on the back of your jacket, Betty, just grab you, and with a simple yank, your teeth come flying out, and you get thrown out the door frame, and you just hear him go, "Whoa!" Before to Janet, that's for you. As you hear Betty's body collide with the floor, as he
God.
slams the door shut and braces it from the other side because he's dealt with frenzy before.
Okay.
David, your character is gonna come to having remembered, having been seen the last thing he's seen. And as you come to, I don't know if you're waiting in the library or reading, but eventually you would hear like the thud and like a grunt. I don't know if David would come out looking or not, but whatever he was doing when he woke up.
For the sake of his experience pre-torpor, I don't think he does.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Yeah, he's staying in the library for right now.
Yeah.
Janet comes running up the stairs and goes, "Oh my God! I swear, if you killed one of my sons before I get a chance to, you are dead, Betty. You're dead."
I think you just see Betty going like, she's like, I wasn't gonna. He smelled like innocence, Janet. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it was.
It
was just
Betty,
supposed to be a
honey, it's okay. It's
She's
all right.
like kind of whispering it to herself and a little delusional.
Yeah, babe, there's a sofa kind of in this living room area outside both the office and the bedroom, and I'll walk Betty over and kind
Betty,
of sit her down.
you're gonna take 2 hits of damage, 2 points of superficial.
Oof.
Or whatever they call it in this one. Bludgeoning, superficial.
Is she still
Aggravated?
in a frenzy? Or
No,
is she
no,
just
not
like,
aggravated.
So
No, she technically she's still. You need to make me another resist frenzy roll after being thrown off, Betty.
Oh yeah. Okay, then I'll try to talk you down. It's a lot of die. You can do it. Come on.
Yeah, you only need she only needed 1 more success.
How do I add the superficial in there?
It's just like the same. Click on your health and just get the single slash.
Okay, single slash. And then what did you want me to do?
Resist frenzy roll again under your willpower.
Again? Oh my god.
Yeah, because it didn't end. It like you got thrown out, and maybe you have like a moment of clarity, but which is where
so
you
I'm
get
still hungry.
Nope, you're completely down to 1. But you're still frenzying because frenzy lasts until you can regain control.
You gotta come down.
Yeah,
I'm not calmed down yet.
No.
You are now.
All right, I think that
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I think Janet yelling at me and me.
It's okay.
Getting thrown out the room. Yeah,
And realizing that it got a little chaotic, and Janet now realizes that Betty didn't mean it, right? Like it's not as bad as we think. And Janet's like, you know what? It's all right, honey. It's okay. Everybody's alive. You fed. Elspeth's fed. David fed. You missed that. Bet you don't find that in your shopping cart every day.
I think she grins at that, and then but inside, I think Betty feels like kind of filthy in a way.
We got a lot of feels in this house today. Hey, David. I'll knock on David's library door. Honey, how are you today? Are you okay?
Yeah, Janet's like, wait, where's David? And you walk up to the library, and David, the knock on the door maybe startles you out of whatever it is.
You knock on the door, and you notice the lights are still off in the room. Like from under the door.
David, are
you open the door?
Awake? Yeah. I hate this room. She creaks it open. She knows the lights are off, so hand goes in first to like try to find the light switch before she has to step in. And then when it flicks on, is he still in torpor?
No, David's not in torpor. It's honestly it's kind of bizarre to watch, and it's very telling of something traumatic because David is attempting to hide under the office desk.
Okay, well then I wouldn't be able to see you from the door.
But the desk is kind of like half cocked up on like
his
2 legs.
Yeah, and you try to go in sideways to get your wings to fit, but you're just kind of poking out both sides.
Did you lose something? What are you doing, honey?
He doesn't say anything. It's stillness. Without seeing the desk, you probably wouldn't have presumed that he was there. But you can see
when you
like
woke up, the flowers would have been back in your jar, David, and you wouldn't remember how they got there. But just so you know, they're.
Are you all right? Did something? I can see you, right? I can see you.
He pulls the hand up from under the desk.
No, baby, I know you're down there. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Why are you hiding?
The woman is dead, Janet.
What woman?
The jogger.
No, baby, she was totally alive. She had a solid pulse. We left her at her door. She's fine.
She was, and David kind of like moves. He pulls himself from under the desk, and it falls back down. And you see just this much of his head appear above the desk. And he says, "She was shot."
Oh.
I think Betty kind of like burst into the room a little bit as he said she was shot.
And I imagine that Elspeth's probably not too far away.
What do you
There
mean
you
she was
are, under the
shot?
desk like a haunted paperweight.
Oh, Betty.
Betty just kind of wobbles in.
What do you mean she was shot? She wasn't shot when we sent her home, honey.
I didn't mean to do it.
Well, maybe he shot someone. I saw him potentially
the doors have
willing
been
to.
locked all day. He could not. And last night, we was all locked in here. I double-checked, and I tucked everybody in.
And you don't know any kindred that have teleportation powers, now, if you think about it. But there are, the Lasombra can slip around in the shadows. You know they can do that. It's really annoying.
But
But like,
He's not a Lasombra. Don't. Why would I even think that? That's silly.
Because you don't know what he is.
I guess that's true.
I
But
was
Well, maybe he has some abilities we don't know about.
I was walking and I saw my shadow on the wall.
See, shadows. There you go.
It was waiting for me, and I don't know, but I sat in it and it felt right, like it felt placed, but I wasn't here anymore.
the shadows talk to you?
David kind of like turns his head down.
Yeah, like, hang on a second. And
Sometimes.
only I would say Janet and Betty would be the only ones. And it's only the rumors that made it out here, and it happened, oh God, no, years ago. But there was like something going on with shadows out in Chicago a while back. Bad news. That's all you know. That's why the Lasombra are even here.
Do the shadows often talk to you?
No, not often, no. But
When they do.
I
What do
saw
they say?
her.
Okay, so you see things through the shadows.
I saw her. She was still and peaceful. You had left her on her bed.
Yes.
And when I saw her, I did not feel hunger anymore. I felt regret. Not for feeding, but for the softness that it stole. And then I heard footsteps in her home, movement, and a man's voice. He said, "I'm sorry, bud. This one's for you."
But
And he shot her twice in the head.
So that wasn't your voice, and that wasn't your hand that did that.
It was not me. It was not my hand.
So you had a dream. Well, we don't normally dream in our kind of state.
has this happened before?
No, not like this. But
But it has
It was
happened
in-
in a weird way.
Oh, you're new, man. You woke up in
I
that
don't-
box. You don't.
I don't think it felt normal, but it felt unreal.
So like a dream. Maybe he's
But
different than us.
But
He can
Betty,
dream.
kindreds don't dream. We're
Yeah, but maybe he does.
we're dead.
Oh, well, maybe he's something else.
There, you know,
What else would
There
it
are-
be?
Oh, David, I got something
this
for
is,
you.
and
this is
Betty
no,
runs off.
no, this is a problem. No, this is how you explain that Mutt died. He was shot twice in the head, the same way the woman jogger was.
Betty turns back around at the hearing of Mutt.
Okay, David, you have a beautiful artistic mind. I want you to stop for a second, and I want you to think back to what you saw. Did you see his, you said you saw a gun. Did you see his hand? Was he wearing anything specific? Did you notice anything? I need you to be a little Sherlock Holmes at the moment, okay? I want you to think back. Any kind of accent with his voice, a lilt, a strange way he said an S or a P, or anything distinctive, honey.
What can I define here, Mathis? Anything?
You can give
in-
me. You can give me an. Let's see. Let me go to the character sheet. What is it? Intelligence and
Memory?
composure. Intelligence composure check. You have memories of it, but like specific about his speech patterns.
Right,
Is,
yeah, that makes sense.
You know what?
It wasn't really
Here,
there.
can I remember anything like any kind of art that I may have seen around the room?
I think what would have caught you is because remember, it wasn't the room; it was at the base of the stairs at the
Where we
apartment.
left
It was at
her.
we left her there.
Oh,
So
okay.
You watched the stairwell that was past her. He disappeared, changed. The guardrail would change to a beautifully ornate wooden one, to then a
Sure.
steel basic one, to then it would not have one. The
Right.
stairs would be concrete, then they'd be wooden, then they wouldn't. The architecture changing would probably be the thing that sticks out to you the most, because some architecture was beautiful, sometimes it wasn't, and all solidified to what you remember to be when the gunshot went off, which was just like a basic apartment stairwell.
Okay, so there was nothing that like really stood out in regards to because David didn't go in, right? Is there anything that David could say
True,
that would
true.
spark Janet's memory about the place? Like, was there
Well,
I don't
she's
know,
not
like a
interested
painting
in
of
the
flowers
place.
on the wall?
She knows where we left her. She wants to know about the guy, the voice. You said you
Yeah,
saw a
the-
gun, so there had to be a
Saw the
hand
gun.
attached
It was-
Sure.
to it.
Yeah, yeah.
For the sake of the experience, I think I'll rouse here to. You said intelligence, composure.
Mhm.
Got
Yes,
it.
David, you got this, David.
We're gonna try.
I love when I cheer for you. It's both you and the character.
5 successes.
Yeah. So something particular on because you were looking through first person. I would say the thing that you could pull more immediately is his hand didn't have any sort of jewelry on it, but I'd say you would be able to with 5 successes get his height pretty specifically
Okay.
at because he's like at a 5'8", we'll say.
Okay.
Like a tall 5 foot, the taller end of
Yeah.
5
Sure.
and his hand, like I said, had no rings on it. It didn't there was no mob representation on it. There was no Ventru representation
Was it
on the
gloved
hand.
or anything?
No, I think did I say it was gloved actually? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember you saying it was gloved.
I don't think so. But it was definitely just like yeah, I don't know. There was nothing particularly notable about the hand, and maybe that's what's notable about it. But with 5, yeah, I'll give you definitely the height. I would say as things were changing in the background, the girl never did. She was the same through it all.
Okay.
Same with the gun. Same with his. I think the gun changed. The gun would change a couple times as things changed until the trigger was pulled, and it was just like a normal pistol. His hand did not. So the girl and him were the only things that were not
Organic stuff. Yeah. Okay.
malleable. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I think David would probably say like moving over, trying to like determine height because height is a little strange. Is Janet in heels?
She is, and in heels, she's probably 5'6"
Okay. Yeah, so around a little taller than Janet. Yeah.
Then he would probably like stand briefly next to you, Janet, and then begin to lower himself to a place where he feels like his eyes would be about the same height with, the kind of like the punctuation of the room.
Okay, so he's maybe a little on the shorter side. You said it was a dude. So we're looking for somebody with like right around average, okay? Nothing on his hands, no
He
calluses.
had no glove, no calluses, no markings.
What kind of gun did he use?
It was changing. The room was changing. The only thing that stayed was his hand and her until he
Oh,
fired.
they're trying to get you to see something. There's some reason why they're trying to make you remember.
Okay, everybody just
He sounded
It would
like
have been the
people-
weapon that would have solidified after the gun trigger was pulled would have been a Glock 19. One of the one of the most common handguns in existence.
right. All right, so you've got this no-name, non-marked, no tattoos, no calluses, nothing like that. Hand, which is maybe for purpose. Hey, Elspeth, let that wound close and come here.
I'm here.
he
Just kidding. I'm sorry. Step into the library, honey.
He sounded like the people of Salem. He did not sound like me.
Okay, so he's local. He's local. All right. Okay. So he's like a heavy Boston accent, or
Not as strong as yours, but not far.
strong. Okay, fine. So, local male, 5'8". That's not much to go on. That's like every bad Tinder date waiting to happen.
It wasn't like the box gun or his gun was like a box. It was not like the chambered gun that the Kings used against me.
Who? The Kings? Oh, the gang. Yeah. Okay, so they had some kind of was it a revolving?
The Kings did, yes.
Okay, so they probably picked that up at some fucking pawn shop. The vibe I'm getting from those kids is they ain't kings of nothing but their own egos. You know what I'm saying?
This
Okay.
gun was
It's
smaller.
true, it's true.
Let's go back.
A bunch of youngins.
The gun itself, pretty non-distinctive. Also picked up at your local pawn shop. Oftentimes used in, street murders and the such. So he could have gotten the gun from anywhere. So we really don't have any information on this guy. Did Magpie, your dear friend, remember him? Didn't he say he was talking to somebody, David? A dude, a guy? I had a contact, yeah?
Yes, someone that he would not tell me the name of.
Oh my god. Secret.
Well, he won't be telling you the name anytime soon.
Mathis, could I have told with that 5 if this was the hand of someone that was either alive, a ghoul, or a kindred?
Oh, yeah. Like, was there a pulse on a vein or...
That's a great question. I would say I would
Deep.
say you did not see a pulse. I'll give you that. With 5, I'll give you that.
I do not think that they were like the jogger woman. I think that they were like us.
Well, of course, Mutt was getting himself into all kinds of stuff. But this wasn't about him. It was for me.
All right. So in the mob, when you want to suss somebody out, right? You got a mole, you got a rat, you got a dirty cop, playing both sides. Whatever you need to do to suss it out. To what?
Elspeth, did Elspeth go like in the middle of the talk?
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay,
even get to my point. What is it?
I have an idea. David. Oh, I might not be okay. If you're comfortable with this, David, the girl, we could try to talk to her.
Okay, so see, this is why I was trying to get Mutt's body. This is a great idea. The problem is we can't be seen at a crime scene with a body in a lobby.
Well, can't you do something about that, Janet? You're good at that, getting people away and talking to people and
Yeah. Oh,
Did I
excuse
tell-
I
us.
did it-
can maybe make them see something else.
Did we talk about where her apartment and whose territory it was, by the way?
we dropped her off.
We dropped her
Yeah, but-
off. So
Yes,
where,
I know
where
that, but
were
did I
we?
tell
Mm-mm.
you? Okay. It was in Bruja territory.
Oh fuck!
Okay.
It was
Got
in.
it.
Okay, so
South side.
Okay.
Bruja is underneath Toreador and to the west
Yep,
of
down
Anarch.
here, down here.
Did I get like was it like alabaster skin color, olive skin color? Was it like mocha? Give me some details of the individual.
I've used just a white skin, just like
Man.
Just
yeah, just like very
okay.
generic Boston man. Like, you know what I mean? Did not have a Boston accent though. There was no Boston accent, so that might be important for you to know. But like,
Okay,
no Boston
what do
accent.
I know about the Bruja of Chicago? Because Brujas, they range in terms of like, are we dealing with like high-end politics and like riots and like city government turnovers? Or are we talking more like these are Brujas that like, it's their streets and they're not going to let you kill somebody in their territory? So, you know,
It's much more like that. Bruja, I mean, they play nice with the Camarilla here in Boston as needed, and they're not like, they still follow the traditions, and they're not like complete violence people. But if they, get wind of something having happened in their territory, they're gonna come knocking. They're not gonna come knocking like a venture's gonna come knocking, but they're gonna play by
want
the
to know if
rules.
somebody killed a kind on their territory that wasn't a Bruja.
Correct.
approved.
And
Okay.
so I will say, yeah, keep in mind too, this is not a Camarilla that's falling apart either. This is one where they're going to follow the rules more likely. So poaching is, that kind of thing.
So so we can assume it's a kindred killed an innocent woman by all standard in Bruja territory. And the only reason we can deduce that would happen is no offense, David, this is not to make you feel bad, honey, but it's because you fed from her. Somebody is trying to clean up contact. Mutt saw you at the exchange. Betty, it has nothing to do with you. That was where I got it all wrong. It doesn't actually have anything to do with you. It's because Mutt saw David.
Does that mean that the kings are dead too?
Possibly.
But
people are being targeted because they're coming in contact with you, David.
the question is, who's following David? Do they have some sort of tracker on him or something? Because we're not being followed that I know of. You would know. Maybe it's some sort of magical tracker.
All right. Magical tracker.
Yeah,
It's definitely possible.
there's like these things I've seen. They're these little stones.
I mean,
made of
Elspeth,
blood.
you might
mean
even
like
think about.
the one that's in his chest?
I was gonna say, Elspeth, you might be thinking.
The one that Magpie planted on him after he arrived to fulfill his, whatever was going down. All, might I add, that comes from a potential connected contact to the man that's putting bullets in everybody that's laying eyes on David. He's cleaning up loose ends. And you only clean up loose ends if you have a long-term plan, right? Because you don't want to leave anything behind. So the question is, what is he really planning? Let me rephrase that. I do care so very much about the people that have died in the wake of these tragic accidents. But what I really care about is what the long-term goals are of this mysterious unnamed kindred who feels that he has a right to shoot kind inside of Brewer territory. Now, that's a bold motherfucker.
Yeah. I have no idea who would be doing this, but they are like, this is like a lot of stuff, and it all is revolving around David.
You sure it's revolving around him? Not the loudmouth Ravno spray painting secrets and pissing off Primogen?
Yeah, but you had no connection
Betty-
to the woman.
He was
I
hiding
was
under
gonna say,
a desk, Janet.
Betty stands a little taller when she says that, you know, a little bit.
The difference is not about his threat level. It's about his uniqueness, okay? He's warning because of what he is. First of his kind. Only one. Unique. Top dollar, if you get what I'm saying. So,
How do you know there's not more of his kind?
have you ever seen one?
No, but it doesn't mean there's not more of him. And where there's one, there's always a flock somewhere.
That's not true. There had to be a first to something every time.
Exactly, so he can't be the first. There's probably someone else.
Maybe in Boston. I'm not, I mean, that's a big world out there of kindred. So, but yes, probably the first of Boston.
Okay. Let's go farther back.
Janet, that
Wait.
body wasn't just dumped anywhere. It was under my mark.
Was a threat.
Exactly.
Somebody doesn't like the fact that we have David. I mean, not that we have you, honey. You can come and go as you please. What I'm trying to say is we keep company with you.
If you want to talk about David, that's fine. I think we need to protect David, of course. That's what we do.
Let's set him up.
Yes. A trap
the
is
next time.
but
You
we could use some more information. Betty, we could start this trap by making whoever this person is think that you're digging deeper. There's no better way to piss somebody off that's got a plan than to continue leaving loose ends they have to clean up, yeah? So what if you keep at it? Show them that the threat doesn't matter. You weren't even concerned. Even if you are. Rest in peace, Mutt, okay?
I don't know if I can do that, Janet.
Okay. Would you like me to put some feelers out?
I thought that's what you were doing.
I mean,
Well, I was over there with Leon all night, and this is what have you been doing?
I've been
Chasing
assuring
this
that
guy under a
every
desk?
one of you standing in this shitty fucking library have managed to eat tonight.
That is true.
Okay, or yesterday, I should say. So that's what I've been up to. And I still have a body downstairs that desperately needs to be prepared before the muscles start getting atrophy. You know, like, I think what I'm trying to say is we are in over our heads. Whatever's going on, not just with David, but with his delivery and all of this mess is a little above my pay grade. And it's hard for me to say that. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but David, don't worry. You didn't have anything to do with it.
you're
If someone's
safe.
trying to use you to hurt us, well, they're gonna learn.
I honestly, David, since we're friends and we've sworn to honesty, I actually don't think I think somebody's going to use David to hurt others.
It's not good.
All right. You ever read that story of Frankenstein?
I have. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. There are two most important things to know about Frankenstein, other than the fact it was written by a woman. One, the story is not about the monster. It's not titled after the monster. It's titled around the creator and his struggle with having brought life to a creature that other people fear, that is gentle and beautiful. The second most important thing to know is that the doctor was his own demise, and the monster paid for it. I don't want to see whoever this mysterious figure is that's talking to David through fucking shadows to turn up and take advantage of him. So we need to get ahead of the problem, because the one thing that this doctor of our situation could not have planned for is us.
Okay, so what are our steps to get ahead of it then? We are going.
Well, the first thing to know is that, yes, in fact, the doctor is actually the monster. That's why it's named after him and not his creation.
So basically what you're saying is this large marble boy is just a waiting, ticking time bomb.
Correct. Somebody will show up. Somebody is going to show up and ask for their package back. No offense, David.
So we get ready for that?
So we prepare for that by reassuring David that you're not the monster of this story. 1. And 2, you need to be prepared for somebody to show up. And you need to be prepared to make a decision on how you want to control your life. Do you let other people do it for you, or are you going to do it yourself? And know that both choices come with extreme consequences, kid.
Plenty of kindred get used as tools. Some let it happen, some like it, some want it. But David, do you? You don't even know what a toolbox looks like.
What we need is proper protection. What we need is to stop hiding David. What we need is an Elysium. We need to have him introduce himself. If you get approved and accepted by the prince as part of our society of the city, if you are allowed to stay, then nobody can touch you. You know what I'm saying? You fall underneath the masquerade, which says that nobody can harm you or use you.
Well, that's not true. They'll still use you. Like I just said, we're all tools. Someone's using someone.
I'm not being used.
That's what you think.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree.
What if they're not just tracking me? What if they are seeing me before I can finish my sentence? Like they're reading what I didn't write down yet.
Well, honey, most people
Like
see a
that.
therapist for that.
Controlling you?
Maybe they're controlling me.
But do you feel like you're in control? Move your arm of your own free will?
Do you remember when you drew...
It is your own free will.
Remember when you put that lovely picture of Annika on the side of Leon's building?
Yes, I do.
Did you feel like you was in control?
Only partially.
In what way?
I knew that I had to make something, but I didn't know that that was going to make what it became. I was in control, but I wasn't at the same time. It's like I was being guided, but my hands felt natural doing it.
Do you know what a Venn diagram is?
An overlapping series of circles.
Correct. Let's say that you're a couple circles. You are brand new, created potentially from pieces of other things, yeah? What we need to figure out is what your biggest circles are. You know, if you're in the middle, you're the piece smack dab where all 3 circles overlap, right? What we need to figure out to help you gain some control over your life, kid, is you need to figure out what the 3 circles are, or 4 circles, or however many circles you got that are part of you. But you need to figure it out, who you were before. Tonight, I showed Elspeth something very personal from my life before I was this way. That's important, and you need to know that. And it seems like that's the piece that you're missing. It's not about your vocabulary, your intelligence, or the fact that you can reason very well and you have a very gentle nature. It's about who came before you. Who
Does it really matter who came before? You're not who you were before. You're who you are now.
Yes, but your past is still your past. You can't just pretend it didn't exist. It shaped who you are in the now. That's how it works.
You cannot run from your own shadow.
That is correct, kid.
I'll tell that to my shadow.
You are literally a product of everything that came before you, even if it's just pieces and parts. The creature from Frankenstein was pieces and parts
All
of
those
other
fairy
men.
tale stories, Janet, they're not real.
Honey, you're a vampire living in Boston. What do you mean fairy tales aren't real? We're living one. It's just a darker version. So I might call this the world of darkness. I think what I'm trying to say, David, is the pieces that you're missing aren't from the now. They're from whatever it was you were whoever you were before. So fill your Venn diagram in, kid.
Then what do they want from me?
Well, honey, that I can't tell you. My fear is that they want to not only hurt you, but use you to hurt other people. Or other kindred. As Betty has so fluently pointed out, our kind are well known for leveraging each other's abilities to make this immortal life the best that it can be. Some use it as a second chance, and some... Well, I guess everybody has a different definition of what a second chance is.
That is what my sire warned, that we need to be careful for David. Whoever is following him would hurt him.
Well, you better watch out for those breadcrumbs.
So
But I
David,
suppose you can find your cracks.
Why have they
David.
not hurt Annika?
why would they hurt Annika? I mean, most people won't even come within 10 feet of it, no offense. So...
Maybe they don't know that she's connected to you.
I have spent 2 to 3 times as much time with Annika as I did ever with Mutt and the woman jogger. And I've spent infinitely more time with each of you, so why have they not making an affront or an attack upon you?
I'm not saying they're not gonna.
Maybe, but it seems right now they're targeting kind, not kindred.
Not kindred. It's all of the kind that you come in contact with. Okay. I'd like us to all just simmer on this information. The worst thing we can do is have a reactionary plan. We need to have a well thought out one, because whoever this is, we're in the middle of their game.
Are there not,
Again, like I
are there
told
not-
you, we're all tools.
are there not guards or
Guards?
authority that I can speak with to report these crimes?
Well, that's what she's talking about. The Elise, yeah.
Okay, yes, technically. Who's our... Oh, we don't have a Brujah sitting council member. Oh, interesting.
For who?
I was wrecking Janet's knowledge of whether or not we had a Brujah Primogen council member, and we do not.
No, there is none.
Look, okay, the truth of the matter
the-
is I have reached out to my sire, okay? He
The Brujah have what's known as, just so you know, because everybody has like the Venture board. The Brujah has like a war council that they
Right.
operate their territory with. You would know maybe them like the head one, which I'll get you
Here's the
in
thing.
a second.
Until we can figure out what clan this mysterious 5'8", well manicured man who he is, there's not a lot I can go on yet. But I have rung up my sire a few nights ago, and as I hope Betty understands, information doesn't always come quickly. He's rather elusive, but when he reaches out, I have a good feeling about it. We're gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna see if I can suss out maybe what's going on, or if he has more information specifically about our council member or our... Who is it? About Underwood. Yeah, about the Primogen Underwood. Since there seems to be some connection there too, which I have not figured out. Why the Ventru? Unless he's La Sombra.
Well, it was in Venture territory.
What was?
One where Betty's contact was killed.
Oh, right. And then the other one was in Brujah territory where we were at.
Correct, which you don't know if the cops showed up. You didn't see that. You just left her there, and then he had a vision of her killing her, and that's it.
Okay.
You don't know if the cops went there, but that was in you because you got her address and you brought her home, which was in Brujah territory.
How do we know this dream of his is even real?
I can find out.
Well,
We would have to go to the scene, and I'm sure if we go there probably will already be police, and that will probably be enough evidence to know something bad happened at that apartment.
What we need is a tail for a tail. If somebody's tailing us, we should send another tail out to see if they can figure out who it is. We need to set a trap. You made a good suggestion. And David's good bait. If we know that they are attacking people that David comes in some kind of maybe more personal contact with, we can replicate the problem and see if we can find a solution.
well, what do you think, David? You want to be bait? Maybe we need a tackle box instead of a toolbox then.
I would rather find a Sheriff Jim Trask.
All right, well, that's what he wants to do, Janet.
Okay.
But I do not know if there is a Jim Trask in Salem.
A who?
It's from a book. The book is The Virginian.
And David will pluck a book from one of the library shelves.
Okay.
It's a Wild West novel.
I have no idea what he's talking about either.
He talks about
But
a
so-
law-abiding sheriff named Jim Trask, and he's like, "You're upstanding juniper of the law."
Okay. Well, you know that's a fictional character, honey.
But is there no sheriff or
Oh, there is.
officer?
What clan is our sheriff? Old Deslin Coates.
Let me take a look. I have it all
Delzin
here.
Coates. Cotes? I don't know.
Let's see. Yep, Gangrel.
Oh.
Mm,
Yeah, there's one of those, honey. You just I guess I could say what do I know about the sheriff? Are they hot-headed? What's their
they are fiercely loyal to the prince, to Prince Iverson. They just do what the prince says.
Do I know why? Usually that form of loyalty has been bought or earned.
You are not privy to that kind of knowledge.
That's okay. I'll get there. Okay, so Deslin. Okay, yeah. There's a gangrel. I guess you could call. They're a little rough around the edges. But he's fiercely loyal to the prince. We really don't want to bring him in until. He's not the kind of sheriff that wears a gold star, honey. He lacks that same. I don't have a good metaphor for this. I think what I'm trying to tell you is we bring the sheriff in when things get really extreme, because without it, bringing the sheriff in is considerable one-way street.
As for, oh no, you didn't ask about the anarchs, did you?
Nope, I've not asked about the
Okay.
anarchs yet, but if you have something to tell me, I'll ask right now.
No, none, nothing. I thought you were asked about the leader of the anarchs, but I think it was the Bruja.
No,
you were
I
asking
was the
for, and
Bruja, yeah. I asked
I
kind
got
of like,
lost in the research.
That's
I was like,
okay.
wait, what was I looking for?
yeah, Bruja. I was asking, like, since they don't have a rep, like, they have a war council, so there'd have to be somebody you
Yeah.
speak with if you want to report something to regarding something that happened in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
The problem is I don't want to tie David's name to it yet because nobody knows David exists, not in its entirety.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't know whose networks of eyeballs have seen what and whispered to who yet, but it'll make its way to you eventually, one way or another.
I just had a thought. Oh, no. It's
Should
only
I
gonna cause
not?
more trouble.
Should I not just introduce myself to the king?
The prince,
king?
the prince.
The prince.
Prince, yeah, yep, Prince Iverson. It's not that simple, since we're not living Camelot. You can't just walk up into the castle. Oftentimes, need to make an appointment. Could take months. Sometimes the prince doesn't even want to see anybody and just waits until there's an Elysium. Thus, my continuation with the obsession of how bad we all need to get dressed up and go party.
And did we kind of, I mean, we talked about this a little bit, David, but the fact that you are not like the rest of us, it may cause some trouble. And so I think we should continue to lay low with you, David.
Well, you know that there's no way for anybody to tell what he is unless they do literal like blood magic. So lying about what he is the easiest thing to do.
Okay, we need
Nosferatu, you've seen some crazy looking Nosferatu in your life. Like there's ways to lie about what he is.
Yeah, for now, if anybody asks, you're what we call a Nosferatu.
Your issue is there is no known permission to embrace another kindred.
Right.
And while this isn't embraced by you, obviously, there's still high risk that he gets killed for what he is.
Right.
So there needs to be, that's something that would sit, I think, at the top of Janet's and Betty's
I've
heads
already thought about the
particularly.
fact when we introduce him, there's a chance that they're not going to let him live, but he deserves the right to choose whether or not he's out, right?
Of course.
And
yes,
David,
yes.
this is your decision, honey. Do you want people to know? Do you want to take the risk of introducing yourself and putting yourself in our society, or do you want to live a life in hiding and running?
I don't want to hide and run.
I didn't think so. So there are a few options that we have that could go over smoothly, but the risk is really high. I'm not going to lie to you about that.
Mathis, I wanted to ask a question. It's a mechanics thing.
Sure.
given the nature of the situation that he just kind of went through, this trauma, this response to whatever he saw through the silhouette, is it possible that it afforded him access to his new discipline? The thing that we've been working on.
Yeah.
First level.
Yeah. Do you know what you want? One particular what you're like reaching to use right now?
Yes. We had talked about Stoneflesh.
Yeah. You want to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Go ahead and describe what happens.
Okay, so I think when you say that you don't want, when he says that he doesn't want to run, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of what we were like aiming for. David also breaks back in.
But if I have to run, I will be fine, especially if it means that me being here will cause any of you hurt. I know how to make myself resistant and stronger.
Oh, honey.
And then you can witness like where the flowing of the clothes that you made him sort of starts to not necessarily like puff up, but it starts to gain like angles and structure to it that weren't there before. And then you witness like rolling up his chest and over parts of his face, the skin hardens into a form of stone.
Whoa. Well, look at that. And we're not magical. It's
Whoa.
fantasy.
Bet he's gonna knock on him.
And it's like cold stone.
When did you learn to do that?
I think when I heard the first shot,
Oh.
and then the second shot, I felt my body colder, and I knew that I had to resist gunfire.
That's really cool, David.
That's very useful. But honey, I don't want you to leave. And I've had a lot of men put me in danger and hurt me in my life, and you are definitely not one of them. I let you in this house knowing that there was a risk involved and that I let you all in, come knocking at my door for going down to the damn docks. I should have known.
Janet, what's your how many politics points do you have?
I think it's only one. Where's my
One?
checkers? Let me double check. Yeah, I have one.
All right, with one, I'll have ask for a roll then. Can I get an intelligence politics check?
I will rouse for this.
This is for the Bruja leader, like who
I'm at
they
3
are.
hunger. No wonder Janet's so sassy tonight. She's getting hungry. Maybe I won't rouse. I'll wait to use willpower. Okay. Okay. You said what politics? Intelligence?
Intelligence politics. It's just to see if you know who the leader of the Bruja or how much you know about them. I'm going to give you the name one way or another.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll willpower if things don't go as planned.
2 successes, and you can re-roll one of them.
Worth it. I have
Oh
willpower.
no, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, 1 because 3 of those are hunger
That's
dice. Yeah.
correct. Yeah. So yeah, I got the willpower to spend. Might as well. Give me an extra success. I rolled it direct. Nah, no success on that one.
Okay, with 2 successes, obviously, so I can give you the name. Is Christopher O'Sullivan, goes by the nickname Kit. Christopher, yeah. Do you?
Oh God, is he Irish?
He's a 3rd generation Irish.
That sounds
actually.
very Irish.
Grew up in Charleston, but you wouldn't know that part. Let me see. Like you with you basically what you would know about him is he's basically what's known as the head of the Bruja War Council. And he earned that position back in 2008. So like 20-ish plus, vaguely years ago, since we're playing in 20X or whatever. And the thing that was very particular about him is while he was very stern and was not shy to throw fists if needed, the reason he earned his position is because he was known to end fights before they got started. Like if 2 people had a problem, he'd bring them together and be like, "You're gonna fucking figure this shit out now, work it out, or I'm gonna work it out for you."
So he's a diplomat with a hard hand. Okay.
Yeah, with a hard, but like beyond that, like he knows violence is he's still violent if necessary, and it'll be before long. He'll eventually have they'll probably come knocking at your door eventually for the person being found dead.
Where is the Irish mob's territory in comparison? Like we had talked about, like the docks over here with Nosferatu tend to be run mostly by the Irish mob or by the Italian mob. But what about the Irish mob? Because
Irish mob work more out south, toward the Bruja territory, out Roxbury, Jamaica Plain, that area. Mm-hmm.
We need to be.
You would know, actually, because you're a mobster, you know he has loose remnant ties to the Irish mob.
That's what I
But
thought.
he's not, but you know he's not like you where he works with them actively. He's
Right,
not
because
like,
he's too old, right?
he doesn't want to
phase out.
bother. He doesn't, he doesn't, it's not his thing.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna be honest. I know who the head of the Brujah War Council is. Knowing what I know, he is going to send goons to this door, my door. We have two options. We can not be here, or all of yous can hide, and I'll deal with it when they show up.
Betty, you can make an intelligence politics roll too if you want as well.
Yeah, what
Elspeth, you could as well,
I don't
but
know
you
much
you know,
about
I don't.
politics.
Yeah, which is surprising to me, but not
Yeah.
surprising at the same time. But you're still welcome to make the roll because you've
I
been
know a
in the
lot
city.
about the street.
David's the only one. Yeah, well, you know what? I would let you make a wit streetwise, but you would get different kind of information about him.
Okay.
Elspeth with a 1, you basically know. You learned something actually from what Janet knows. You know, like you know his name, you know
It's
he's
like,
around, and basically Annika's probably just don't bother the Brujah and they won't bother you.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Well, I got a 1 with politics intelligence and a 4 with streetwise and wits.
All right. The guy, just so you know how he looks, he's like a 5'10", kind of like heavier side of things, salt pepper hair, really short cut, and you can see it's like his nose was broken at one point in his like mortal days beforehand. This thick like construction worker finger style, like typical Boston like construction worker kind of build. And so with a 4 for wit streetwise, I will say you actually know that he was before he came to Boston, he actually lived in New York.
Okay.
And he's only in Boston because he was turned in Boston. His turning was completely I don't want to say accidental because it wasn't accidental, but opportunistic. That's the word I'm looking for, because he was turned during the 1983 Boston busing riots, and he was holding a line between the protesters and with his own just being present and like his own presence and willingness to get violent only if necessary. You would know that about his history, I'd say, Betty, because that's more how he rose to where he was.
Betty's electricity just went out.
Yeah,
or
it's
Maggie's.
storming here in the
Wow.
south. So let me
Unfortunate.
quit. Let me keep. Maybe it'll come back, but until then, y'all keep at it. So okay.
But that was what Betty knew, because she rolled 4 for wit streetwise, but we'll worry about that later. So you know about him, and you don't know much beyond that, Janet. And obviously Elspeth, you're just like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna be honest. We can't just go knocking at the sheriff's door, and I can't just go walking into gangrel territory.
I agree. So maybe we don't get them involved just yet. Like, we should keep these individuals in the back of our minds, but I don't think we need to get involved with any of them personally.
I actually have to completely agree with that sentiment. I'd like to just not and keep David safe until an Elysium is called and we can do the right thing by introducing him. Or my sire calls first and I can ask for some proper advice.
Yes, but in the meantime, I like the idea of maybe setting up for another one of these opportunities so we can...
I think that's probably right, but I'm going to be honest. The Brujah are going to come knocking. We were the last person to touch and see that girl in their territory, and then now she's found dead on their doorstep. David, in case you don't know, you're not supposed to just kill willy-nilly.
Well, if they do, they do.
Oh, honey, you ever had a Brujah show up at your door?
No.
Okay. Well, I will give you a little perspective. It's not always a fun time. It's like raising a teenager, except they have more. The point is, I would like us to lay low for just a minute. Something strange is going on, and the more time we spend it on the streets, the more danger we put David in, the more danger we are in, and honestly, the more danger all the kind around us are in. Because whoever is pumping lead into people has no problem killing on a whim. What we need are a couple answers. We need some more information. I'm not a detective, for Christ's sake. I'm a soup maker. Actually, I know. Well, we don't have to talk about my real job.
I know what I need to do.
Which is?
I need to get studying more.
So about that, let's talk about your studies. So, how do you just like turn it on or off? You need like some space. You do these things because I have a problem, an infestation, you might call it.
I need some space to do it. The thing is, right now where I'm at, I could be doing more. That's the thing. When if there's people I want to talk to, right now I can't really have a conversation with them. I can only get like some signals, you know? It's like getting a Ouija board and, you know, you only get a little bit of info rather than like, I don't know, like an EMF reader where you can actually like, or not a spirit box where you can actually talk with them. I'm trying to get to the level of spirit box. Right now, I'm at like Ouija board.
Okay. Well, I got it. You want some homework? Does that, you know,
Yes.
get your goat? Okay. Here's some homework. And David, since you're here, you know what? I'm not even going to hide the truth. Why hide it from you? You want the truth? I'm going to just lay it out. David slept every night since joining our little crew in this room. Between the point at which we all go into torpor at night and wake up the next morning, strange things are happening to David. I guess you could say I have a haunting in this room.
I sensed it.
Well, congratulations.
I sense a lot of spirits around you, Janet.
Okay, well, there's one in particular that did not uphold the laws of marriage, which said, till death do us part. He did not part. He haunts this fucking house and continues to make my life a living hell on a regular basis. But most importantly, I believe he's tied to this room, considering the fact that I shot him in the head in that chair right there. So he's in here, if you believe in that kind of thing, watching David every night. He will know what has happened. Maybe he can help us out and give us some information. Not that I'm interested, but if it helps David, I'll be happy to talk to my dead husband. Or you can. I give you permission. Go. Good luck.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you some questions, Janet?
Me?
Yes.
About
I need some details.
Oh, God.
What?
Okay.
You start to say his name. What's his name?
Antonio.
Okay, I'm going to need that. Antonio Giannetti. Antonio Giannetti. And, well, dare I ask this?
No.
Janet.
Okay.
How did the marriage end?
Quickly.
Or how? Oh. Okay.
With a
I assume
bang.
Quite literally?
Yes.
Because she shot him.
I shot him in the head, honey.
You shot him in the head.
Yeah, right there in that chair.
Okay.
Did you shoot him twice?
No.
Did you kill the jogger?
No. I shot him once cleanly in the back of the skull. This is actually his hat, and she pulls the hat that was maybe hanging on a coat rack, and you realize the hole is still in the back of the hat he was wearing. Here you go.
Oh, this would be a great fetter.
Well,
but I already know what it is, Janet.
No, what is?
I need your wedding ring.
Oh, honey, I don't take my wedding ring off. You want his?
Yes, I believe it actually was his. I need his.
I'll pull his out. Not that I care. She cares a lot.
Yeah, but does she show that she cares a lot?
I don't care. I will. What do you want? Do you need me to roll for that? She doesn't want you to know
I will
she
say
cares.
it's up to you. It's
That's
up to you.
literally like handing you her mother's body because that's one of her touchstones.
Give
His
me
ring is her touchstone.
Give me a resolve composure. Can you keep it to your? Can you hold it back?
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
I imagine she's attempting to.
I don't care. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure. Fine. You can have it. You can totally have it. I'm not even concerned about it. I don't even want it.
Yeah. You beat hers by 1, Tracy. So Elspeth, you can absolutely feel a twang of just angry sarcasm.
And it's like Bilbo trying to pass the ring off to Frodo, like to get it out of my hands into your hand. It's just like that. Yeah, fine. Yeah, go for it. I always thought the hat would be enough. You know.
You held on to that pretty long, Janet.
As soon as she says that,
it came as a set.
As soon as you say that, it came as a set before Elspeth can say anything else. One of your sons is behind you and making the gesture of someone is at the door to see you.
Jesus Christ. The two of you stay in here. I look at him and I say, guard this door like normal. close it, keep the lights dim, and do not make a sound. Do you understand me?
No sound.
Okay, that's a yes or no question. No sound. And I close the door. I lock it, right? To everything.
And he
just
stands
looks
on the
like,
outside. And you start making your way to the front, but
Yeah.
on the other side of things, you have rolls to make. What are you doing? What are you attempting to do here, Elspeth?
I would like to summon the spirit of Antonio.
Okay, we're doing summon spirit.
I have,
Okay.
because I was going to say, I already know what the fetter is.
Yep. You have that. Summon.
So now I am going to, I look to David and I'm like, David, are you comfortable seeing this happen? Would you like to see how I talk to ghosts?
There's almost, I feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, but there feels like to me, there's like if you say no, she's going to be really sad.
Yes,
Aw.
she's like showing her special interest to somebody.
If Mr. Genetti is a bad man and he deserved to get shot, then maybe he will be a bad ghost. And I would like to be here to make them not that way.
You're absolutely right. And he's probably a very angry ghost. So we should be ready.
I have been sleeping in his library.
Have you seen anything strange?
Almost constantly.
That's she doesn't even inquire anymore. She's like, okay, let's get this started, and we have to be very quiet. Just
So this
as
is
Janet
a
said.
ceremony.
Indeed. So it'll take me about 5 minutes to prepare.
So, do you want? It's the same thing as you did last time, right? Where you smear the blood over the fetter. You need to make me your Oblivion ceremony roll, correct?
Yes. So I think I do. Well, I will have to rouse for this one. I put the blood on the fetter, so I'll rouse now.
Mhm.
I'm good. Okay. I am going to just roll this one on roll 20. This is a resolve and oblivion ceremony. Let's roll that. Okay. I am going to willpower and
The one of them, yep.
re-roll that one die. Let's see. Oop. Okay, so only 2 successes.
Does it have to be? I forget what it has to be. I can't remember what the difficulty is.
I should have written this down.
Let's see.
I believe it was equal to my 1 plus my Oblivion ceremony, which is I only have 1 dot in Oblivion ceremony.
Fine, better, yeah.
Let's see.
One rouse, blah blah blah. But yeah, how does it? So okay, 5 minutes per winning resolve plus Oblivion difficulty ceremony plus 1 ceremony level plus 1. So difficulty 2, yeah.
Yes, correct.
So then yeah, you succeed.
Yay.
So we see, where does Elspeth prick to draw Vitae from?
Usually probably right on her little hand wrist, just at the very edge.
Is there
just
a ritualistic spot you always use?
Actually, yeah, it's just right where the hand is, just something easy, because she generally will pour it on the fetter, so it's something easily accessible for her Vitae to get on that.
And as you smear it, you begin speaking. That's the lower level, so it's probably not even that much words as much as just a focus and an attention. It takes about 5 minutes. And so while you're doing that, we cut over to Janet as she walks up to the front door.
I check myself. I make sure that I look okay.
Yeah. You swing the door open. You don't know really who's there to expect. There's a little peep window,
Yeah, there's
I
probably
imagine.
a peephole. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make me an intelligence politics roll, please, when you see this person through the window. 2 successes. It takes you a minute because the face is incredibly forgettable. I guess is very way to put it. Their nickname is Easy. You know them. Their first name, you wouldn't know their last name though, is Ezra. This is a assistant, if you would call it that, apprentice maybe, of the Herald of Boston, April Bosley.
Fuck.
This is the person who shows up when you're not important enough for her to show up.
Right.
But there's still something to be done. They've been around for about a little over 3 years now. You don't really know like how they became what they became.
Right.
But they are now April's little runner individual.
Okay. Okay.
They
so,
are, yeah.
Okay, so you see her like, what's her name? What's her name? Ezra. Open up the door and I go, Ezra, it's so good to see you. What can I do for
as
you?
As you look at Ezra, you just see kind of just like this very average looking, average height in a like just kind of like what do you call it? Like windbreaker gear with reflective strips down the side, and he you see parked just outside your gate or outside your property is a bike that he rides. As you open the door, he doesn't even make eye contact with you. He very much keeps his eyes down. Well, looks up occasionally to like make eye contact with you, but mostly looks down.
Janet likes that. That's called fear, and it makes her smile. He can't see the smile, but she smiles.
And there's and you said, I'm sorry, how can I help you? Is that what you said?
Yeah, what can I do for you this lovely evening?
In a very monotoned, not necessarily like passive or meek, but just kind of quiet. He simply says, what's your last name? Sorry, Janet what?
Janetti.
Janet Janetti. He simply says, do you go, and he would know this, Miss or Mrs. Janetti?
Oh, I am a widow. I never got a divorce, so I guess technically I'm not a Mrs. anymore, but if he called me that, it would not hurt my feelings.
But I guess, is there a preference that Janet would have? Because he would know, April would ensure he would know.
It would be Miss Janetti.
Okay, absolutely. Miss Janetti, it is a pleasure to see you this evening. I come bearing, and he kind of stops for a minute and he unzips his windbreaker and he reaches in and you see him pull out just a little notebook of like paper and he starts flipping through a couple of pages and he finds his notes. And maybe the name you didn't want to hear, maybe the name you expected to hear. He simply says, Miss Bosley has heard of potential curiosity being kept within your possession, a kindred that has been hanging around for a few nights.
Yeah.
Is there
He clears his throat.
interest in missing or new kindred?
If it was a nomadic kindred, we expected them to leave by now, but if they plan on staying any longer than a week, they'll have to make themselves known officially to at least Miss Bosley.
Of course. I'd be happy to set up an appointment. That would be a good thing, I think, for everybody involved.
You just see him nod. I agree. And he looks to his notepad. Go ahead. If Janet's gonna say something.
For just clarification, to assure that there were no issues, this kindred has been staying here. I will be completely transparent to assure that there was a safe residence and they were not walking the streets.
He nods at that.
You can make a note about my participation.
And you see him scribbling something though. You're trying to like see over to see what he's writing.
Yeah, I just kind of I'm trying to set him off just a little bit, but like I'm trying to make it look normal because she's got like a pot of gold upstairs. This is not an average kindred, but he clearly doesn't know that. Usually we would have an Elysium this time of year for a larger, introduction of new kindred to the city. Are we planning one anytime soon? Maybe you have the behind the scenes.
He just shakes his head immediately. No, there's no Elysium planned anytime soon, but Miss Bosley is very interested in the kindred you have. And it is a kindred, correct?
Of course.
He writes something
What else
down.
would it be?
Potential ghoul, contact, informant, criminal.
Oh, none of that here.
At worst case scenario, possibly somebody on a list that
I guess you could,
he kind of cut himself off.
he cut him off. I said there's no criminal activity here. I can assure you of that.
The individual's name, please.
He calls himself David.
He writes that down. He doesn't even question, the phrasing in which you put it. And then he goes, "Is there anything else you'd like me to let Miss Bosley know before I leave?"
Janet, I think Dot has to take a moment to figure out what I want to say here because there is something that Janet needs to say.
Absolutely.
But she also knows that she needs to give Bosley something. What clan is April? Bosley?
Toreador, I believe.
Oh.
Let me double check.
Okay.
I think she is, yes.
Yep, she's a Toreador.
As the herald of the prince, I know that. Does she like to go by April or Miss Bosley or
To those who are not close, Miss Bosley.
Miss Bosley's interests lie in all kinds of unique things. This one is going to want a lot of discretion. And it comes with a story. So maybe ask if David can have some, I can accompany him when he comes to introduce himself.
You will be expected to be there as long as with Miss Elspeth and and Miss Betty, I think he would say.
Oh yes, Miss Betty. Okay. Do we have
You've
a
all
time
been seen
and a
together
place?
recently. Yes. He looks down to his note. 48 hours from 2 nights from now, at a 10 p.m. and she'll meet you at, and he'll give you the name of a very nice restaurant, essentially.
You said we've been seen together.
Yes, of course.
It's good to know. Thank you so very much for your time, Ezra. It's always such a pleasure to have you at my doorstep.
He kind of just puts the notebook back in his
Is there
pocket
anything
and
that I
zips
can
it up.
offer you? You're thirsty? I got fresh cookies, some Jell-O.
He just kind of raises his hands, appreciate it, Mr. Janetti, but have a good night.
You know, if you ever wanted to update your suit, I'd do it at a discount.
He doesn't say. He just keeps walking and over to his. He pulls his bike up, hops on it, and starts pedaling away.
Oh, he rides a bike.
Yes.
I laugh as he goes somewhere closer to
Yeah,
it.
his little mountain bike. That's
Ridiculous.
clearly been a.
I lock the door. I have a date and a
That's why he
time
had the
and a
reflective
location.
strips on him on his outfit. He had the reflective strips on his little track outfit.
All right. I gather myself. I go over to the fridge. I eat a fresh piece of fleshy meat because here's the thing. I am ravenous. I have been so hungry through this whole thing. I am at 3. And before we get any hungrier, I think Janet's not even going to let him know this person's gone. She's just going to take a moment to herself in the kitchen to eat some organs and just take a second. So
take a hunger point down.
Yep, I'm just gonna do one is enough. Like she just eats part of maybe whatever she's already prepped or had started prepping.
It's like a mom hiding in the pantry with a bag of cookies.
That's exactly what this moment is. It's just like, just
I'll
let the
never
kids fucking nap, dude. I just need to eat this bag. That's all. I'm gonna go to the kitchen and just have my moment as I gnaw on a
And
raw
while you
piece of
do,
meat.
we cut back to the other room as the ritual is being finished, and as you kind of sit there with your eyes maybe kind of focused on the fetter and a deep, maybe reflexive breath. Does Elspeth say anything? You wouldn't know if it's around. You know it can take time for a spirit to get here if it's anywhere far away, but you know that the spirit is here.
She says his name as part of the ritual to call out to the ghost is she will just say, Antonio Janetti, are you here?
As we have like a close shot of you and we pan out a bit, we see David. What's David doing when she's been doing this?
I mean, he's been watching a little bit, but I think he's had a bizarre revelation. Not like stunning, right? But like just what a weird coincidence, because he has been like slowly proceeding through this Bible that was supposed to have been very important to Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks back to some very specific texts where they refer to creatures created by God known as cherubim.
Mm-hmm.
And cherubim are winged, like in the form of men, creatures that are made of either gold, stone, or wood that are deigned as protectors of locations. Particularly, they talk about one guarding the Garden of Eden with a flaming sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds it very interesting. So he's like, his attention is still with them, but I think it's something that he might want to point out to them. And he kind of like, he takes the Bible and sort of like crimps it a little bit at that page because it feels very important to him.
Sure. Yeah.
And he
dog ear it.
Yeah, he lays it up on the table, maybe down so it doesn't flip through the pages, and then he continues to watch.
And as you say, call out his name and kind of look around. It's similar to last time, where for a minute it felt like a piece of your hair is kind of blown forward. A few strands move from your shoulder up front, and you can feel just the gentlest gust of warm wind that kind of blows it forward, which is in stark contrast to the usual cold wind that you feel.
Antonio, I just want to know that you're here. So please make yourself known.
Another moment in wits awareness, both of you.
Awareness. Wits.
3 for David. 3 for Elspeth. You would both hear a rather quiet whisper, just almost angrily saying, "What?"
A excited gasp upon that. And
It would sound next to your ear, David, much as similar as it would sound like it was next to Elspeth's ear as well.
I know things did not end well for you, but I want to help resolve those problems.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I want to look something up real quick.
I'm here to help, Antonio.
You kind of sit there in silence for a bit, no response, and almost leaves it like you questioning for a moment. There is no notable response at the very least for you.
She just continues to talk to him, knowing that his presence is still here.
Mhm.
She just says, I know that your death was painful, unexpected. I know your marriage was also painful.
Get Dex athletics check, Elspeth. Only here.
Okay. This excites me. Okay.
1. Let me make a roll.
I'm gonna get hit. Like something, he's gonna throw something at me.
With a 1, a book comes flying off a
Yep.
nearby shelf. You can hear the pages like kind of hit through the wind as it just barely misses you as you kind of like duck out of the way.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be a bit more prepared to react for the next event.
Yeah, I don't think David knew that was coming, but Elspeth kind of had understanding that might happen.
Yeah.
That reacted rather angrily to you. Now you also are aware, summoned spirit, they're under no obligation to cooperate, and if they want to leave, they can leave. So this is not a binding spirit situation.
Yes. Not yet.
Is this the ritual only limited to Elspeth? Or is it just like, is it pulled to the room? Like, how does that work?
Actually, that's
There are things that I kind of treat only Elspeth can experience, and then there are things like that I would say like more typical haunting-esque happenings David would experience as well, like seeing the book or a weird whisper. But if sometimes she'll see like a figure standing next to her or what have you, and David would not.
Gotcha. So is it feasible that David might communicate with them?
Yeah, you just don't know if they hear you or not, and whether they would respond. But it's under there'd be no logical reason David would not think that they might.
Okay, then I'll hold for the moment.
Sure. So the book comes flying at you, Elspeth.
And she just kind of moves. Yes, Antonio, I know. It's painful. It's difficult. But I want you to find peace. And I'm going to help you with that. Maybe not tonight, but the next time this happens, and the next time, and the next time, we will keep talking.
A charisma persuasion roll.
Okay. Okay. Let's go.
4 successes. You would feel for a moment the room, David, you'd feel this too, get really cold as she's like, I know you're angry as you kind of begin. But by the end, you'd feel the temperature sharply drop. And I think you would see, just you, Elspeth, for a moment, not a full figured apparition in any way, but what feels like just like, the feeling like somebody's like next to you watching you, like just at a dry sight, like you have a feeling that you're just being watched. Maybe for us, the viewer, where like profile shot, we can see like this way out of focus, just something that might be human shaped. And as maybe the viewer sees it, Elspeth has that feeling, and you whip you around, and as it comes into focus, there's just nothing there. But you don't feel it's angry at the very least in this moment anymore, and seems to have taken in what you said with a level of calm maybe at this point. The door opens with Janet walking in with a point of hunger now sated.
Oh, I feel better. I'm like,
rejoining. Yeah, exactly. And you just see a book on the floor. It's not any of the books that you were reading.
so he's still
David.
destructive even in death?
I actually kind of glare at Janet, who has ruined my concentration on this.
What?
On this communication. And the spirit who I felt right next to me.
Is he here? Still?
He's always here, Janet.
Yeah, I know. That's the whole point. Did you get some information? Did he tell you anything?
No.
Well, why
but we're
not?
working on it.
Did you ask nicely? Because it won't work.
I did ask nicely.
Antonio, look, if you're here, can you stop playing games? We need some information. I'll leave again, and I'll leave the pretty girl for you to talk to, because we all know how you like a pretty girl.
Maybe Elspeth doesn't want to tell her. Maybe she just but you have the ability to summon them, but the communication, you're not that far in your studies yet. You don't really know how to talk to a spirit yet.
Nope, I don't.
So as she's walking away and be okay, get another shot, and she's about to leave, does Elspeth wait?
Look, I'll get out of here. All I'm saying is, Antonio, you better participate. After all the bullshit you've put me through for decades, come through on something.
I think Elspeth actually is going to leave it at that. And that's that. No, I think it's, she knows he's here. She felt his presence. She doesn't want to push him any further.
Oh,
It's clear, Janet, that Elspeth is not about to try again.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I hope you rest well, Antonio. Fucking dunce.
Thank you, Janet, for your colorful contribution to this.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really good at getting them riled up. So, if you want to see them, all I got to do is call them a couple names.
Have you ever thought about a different approach? A more calm and collected one?
No.
You've only spoken to your husband with that anger and rage.
Oh, no, honey. No. For the first 5 years, I was the perfect wife. I said nothing. I did nothing. Actually, no. I wasn't this way until the end. But I blame him. Plus, in death, what's he gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do, Antonio? Huh?
There is a lot he could do.
Oh. I'd like to see him try, because he didn't do nothing when he was actually alive. Maybe make yourself useful the second time around, huh?
Oh, she just keeps looking around, hoping he's gonna throw something.
Elspeth actually goes over to the
David
book.
just standing there
You know what, Elspeth? One day when we have another little heart-to-heart, I'll explain to you why Antonio deserved the bullet he ate for dinner.
I'm sure there's certainly a reason, but at the end of all of this, Janet, you created an angry spirit here. You
No. I just pulled the trigger. He was already angry. He was already a failure. All I did was fix his problems and put him out of his misery. Plus,
Who was at the door?
we had a visitor, just as I expected. It wasn't who I expected. How do you feel about, meeting some new people, David? Like the Herald of the Prince.
This is probably a good move.
Yes, I think living in isolation's not doing any of us any good. And, well, I'm sure as Elspeth can back me up, meeting Miss April Bosley is an important step in you being accepted in the city. Unfortunately, there will not be an Elysium called, so it will not be a public presentation.
Wait, this April Bosley knows about the stuff with David?
I wouldn't say that. She just knows he's...
We've been being watched. We've already assessed that, yeah?
Yeah, but...
Well, they've been watching us, and they've seen our little crew form around David over the last few nights, and she's right. The masquerade says that we have 1 week if he's not going to leave town. And David, you don't plan to leave town, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so if you're gonna stay, you have to introduce yourself within the week.
Why can we not go now?
Well, because we have an appointment, honey, and we have to stick to the card.
Okay.
And you're still
Well-
waiting on Janet's still waiting on information from the mob about who owned
The box.
that box particularly.
I'm waiting on a phone
like what
call.
family, right?
Well,
Yeah.
what family, or like, we know that we run those docks, but I'd even take the name of who ordered the larger crate that had all the mysterious shit in it. Yeah, so just a name, an address, any kind of identifier for who might have ordered that freight into the docks, the Italian docks.
Yeah.
Knowing
Which,
it's probably,
but like a lot of other crime families run through there, right? Like they pay you your dues and that. So yeah,
I want a
exactly.
name. I need some kind of identifier because it may help us figure out, was somebody played by a kindred or was it a kindred,
That you can't get off the families easily, but if you get a name of like.
But just, I told him, I was like,
belongs
any
to.
information. I want a name. I want a booking number. I want a credit card. Just give it to me.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was just asking.
No, you're good.
about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elspeth, were you saying something? I apologize.
So we have to get ready to meet and introduce David as our new Nosferatu friend in the city.
Okay, there's a lot of words there that, put the way you put it, really make us look guilty.
Yeah.
I think what's happening is the Herald of the Prince is doing their job to assure that the next kindred that has decided to stay in Boston introduces themselves. It is David's job to introduce himself, and it is April's job to decide if he gets to stay. It is only our job to show up because we are guilty by association. When we walk in that room, we keep our mouths shut unless she asks you a direct question. Unless, of course, you would like both your reputation and your future destroyed in one fell swoop.
No.
In addition, it's a fancy dinner restaurant, so I'm going to need you and God help Betty you to really... We're going to have to step it up.
But I have my nice clothes
That's
that
right.
you've made for me.
You can wear your new outfit. Elspeth, how can I help you? Do you have like a nicer, like you have anything that doesn't involve knee-high socks? Loafers?
I have some nice dresses that I can wear.
I looked at Betty and just decided it's not even worth the conversation right now. We'll deal with that when the time comes. And I go, Betty. Okay, so
Then should I know a bit more about what these Nosferatu are like?
Do we have to like do a quick etiquette lesson?
I was actually going to say this might even bring into both your minds. Shit, he doesn't know the traditions. He doesn't know any of these things, and
okay.
you
Let's
don't know if he'll.
let's start at the
You
beginning.
don't know if they think that. Here's the thing: they don't know, and Janet, if he's a new kindred in terms of like brand new embraced, or if he came through as a nomad and didn't introduce himself properly and is seen with you.
Okay, so my suggestion is we lean into whatever humanity April has left, okay? Maybe we don't tell her what we think you are in terms of your clan, because guess what? It's a lie, and you don't lie to the Herald of the Prince. She's gonna know. So David, when you go in there, just tell her you don't know what clan you are. Just say it. That's the truth. I don't know my clan. Simple.
You would know that they would likely end up taking him to the Tremere. Because they have the sorcery and the rituals.
This is why I'm glad I'm going to be in the room. Now, we're going to be there to help you through it the whole way, right?
And Elspeth, your CSIR says, don't let the Tremere touch him.
The problem is, if we give him a clan, if we say, oh, yeah, he's clearly a Nosferatu, the first question is going to be, who's his sire? Because the sire has to answer for the new body in town. Now, David, you could have strolled in from another city, which I guess technically you sailed in from another city, but you don't know where that is. And the more that we lie, the easier it's going to be to get caught. What we need is just a little bit of truth on the table here and hope that David can use his charm and his gentleness to woo her.
What if we just say, like, he was embraced, we don't know who his sire is, that happens all the time, and he has some sort of amnesia from whatever happened.
One thing that you said there that's truthful. He has amnesia. We don't know that he was sired, and we definitely don't know who the sire is.
And that's not, I mean...
So I'd say we
Look-
tell the truth, which is why when I get some information about the docs, I can bring that to the table. We found him. We found him.
We found him.
And he's got amnesia.
and
All
he
that's
has
true.
amnesia.
All that's true. And
But
we
again,
are
we
afraid
need-
that he... Yeah, I mean...
we need to do whatever we can to make sure that he's not taken to the Tremere. So that's why we have to come up with a story.
If she finds out we're lying, she's going to send them anyways. Might as well be truthful and be honest about it.
What if she does not like the Tremere? Why would she send me to someone that she does not like?
Oh, God, I was afraid of this question. So the reason, honey, is because the Tremere are answer seekers. It's what they do.
It can take blood and get a lot of answers.
So they're going to take your vitae, and they're going to cast some weird Tremere magic on it and try to figure out who you are. And in doing so, it's probably going to fill your Venn diagram in one fell swoop, but it also may put you in great danger. Because as Annika has pointed out, you know, she thinks going to the Tremere is going to put you in danger.
Then is there not a way to fake my vitae, my blood?
Not that will come to your mind immediately.
I mean, unless you got some heist planned where after they take a vial of your vitae, we swap it with another vial of vitae. The reality is that it's kind of a foolproof plan. And the idea that we're all trying to pull the wool over the council's eyes is maybe a bad decision.
Then I will just be honest with
Yes.
Miss Bosley.
Thank you. Honesty, I genuinely believe, I can't believe I want to say this, in this case is actually probably our best bet. Not every time, but for this one, it is. Because in honesty, David, it's not just your head on the table. It's ours too.
Is there not some way that we could find more protection? Maybe like your makers. Would Annika protect us? Or maybe would your maker protect us,
Well,
Janet?
I have reached out to my maker, as you so put it, and he has yet to return my call, as most men in my life. So, I'm just, waiting patiently. When he reaches out, I had planned to ask for some advice and try to see if I couldn't learn a little bit more about why someone in this city would want you brought here. Because the truth is that the Tremere are split in two. They're fighting their own little civil war, at least they were. And if you truly were brought here to be a weapon, some weapons are brought in at the end of war to win the battle. I truly believe that one of the Tremere clans is trying to get their hands on you to use you against everybody else. To end this war. Now, I can neither confirm nor deny. Consider it Janet instinct. But it got me this far.
But I don't think that I am meant to fight. I think that I am meant to guard.
Potentially. But who? A weapon is not just something that fires a bullet, honey. A weapon can be the right words. You ever heard the saying, a smile is a loaded gun?
I think I have, yes.
Let's say that you are, in fact, just a shield. A protector, as you would. Maybe it's what you're protecting.
Then what am I protecting?
I don't know. I can't answer these questions for you, honey. I truly, Janet is out of answers. You want to know what's the best hymn to put on a pair of pants? I got you. You want to know how to move and clean money out of 13 bank accounts across various countries? I got you. But honey, I don't know anything about Tremere and bringing a being such as yourself into life. That is outside of my pay grade. I'll make your PB&J and cut the corners off.
David takes a moment to acknowledge that, and then he returns to the Bible that he upturned on the desk, and he brings it back to you, Janet.
Okay.
And it's a passage from Genesis, Genesis 3:24, about Adam and Eve being forced from the garden, and God placing a cherub in its place, a cherubim, and how it was given a flaming sword to guard the entrance to the Garden of Eden. And then he flips again to Exodus and again to Ezekiel and points where there are multiple passages about these cherubim, and each are described as winged man-like figures that are deigned protectors, and they're like oversized, and they're strong, and they're created of things that aren't like really flesh.
Okay, so it worked. You did find something in a book you relate to.
But if I am meant to be this way, and what is are the Tremere the garden that I am supposed to protect?
Oh, that's a big question. The Tremere tend to keep to a place we call the Chantry, or they call the Chantry. It's locked doors. Only Tremere are allowed inside. It holds a lot of secrets and a lot of shit that, honestly, again, above my pay grade. But if they truly want you as a protector of one of their two Chantries, the question is, what are you protecting? All right, let's go back to your analogy here, okay? Your newfound story. This cherub that was protecting the Garden of Eden. What was in the Garden of Eden that God wanted protected?
It was the tree of life.
That's right. So something, if that's the case, and this is the theory you want to run with, then what are you protecting? What is one of the Chantries holding that is so sacred that they need to create something new to keep it safe? That is the $1 million question, kid. That's at the peak of it. More importantly, who's God in this scenario? Because if you're just the cutie tootie guarding the gates and Adam and Eve are in there eating apple pie, there's still got to be a God. Somebody that's controlling everything, that brought you into being to do this thing. Because Adam and Eve didn't make the cherub. Who is God? Who is Dr. Frankenstein? Who made you? These are the questions that I think, when answered, are going to give us the clues we need to piece this fucking puzzle together. But until then, I would suggest that we all take a deep breath, that we maybe put the books down for a second, and we give you an etiquette lesson, because it's going to come in handy when you get into April Bosley's doors. I guess the restaurant's doors.
If the Tremere think that the home you call the Chantry is their garden, then is Adam and Eve not the rest of the Camarilla?
Potentially, but technically they were allowed to be in the garden. The only two people allowed in the garden, except for the snake.
But they were forced out.
Yes?
What happened to make the rest of kindred forced out of the Chantry?
The kindred weren't forced out. If we're going by your metaphor, God felt like whatever he made was so fucking special that none of us could have it. And that is exactly what the Tremere think.
That feels very heavy.
Yes, sweetheart, it does.
How can I stop everyone else from something I do not know?
You can't. You can only control your own actions. I learned that from a therapist about 20 years ago. All you can do is control what David can do. And David, the only thing you can do now is get ready and prepared to go introduce yourself to April Bosley and make your case that you deserve to be here.
Do you really think that the Tremere are after me?
Yes. And potentially something even outside of the Tremere.
Then we should tell April this.
Yes, we should. You are right. That's the honesty here, honey. That's the honesty I'm talking about. We should be honest. We should tell the truth. You know,
I feel better about this.
Technically, those aren't the only creatures that protect stuff, winged and stone-like. There are many figures, usually from religion, that guard places of importance.
On cathedrals and on churches.
Correct.
And place of important religious place value.
That's correct.
I saw a few of them in the statue courtyard where I found the jogger woman. But they are not like me. They are smaller and more like animals. And I think they're deliberately supposed to be hideous.
To each their own. Some people think gargoyles are very, very cute. Or I guess you could say beautiful. Just depends.
Gargoyles. I've not read about them. I've only seen them.
You know the difference, right, between these little cutie toadies with wings in your Bible and a gargoyle?
They were not written there.
No, they're not gonna be. They were made up by the church, a visual representation during the Dark Ages. So, well, other than the fact they were architecturally used to move water out of the gutters of the churches, they also served a purpose, which is that the uneducated people would look at them and be scared, put the fear of God in them, if you would. But the gargoyles were also supposed to protect those same people that feared it from something much worse, demons and evil. They were to keep the bad out of the walls of the place that they worshipped, I guess. It's very Catholic of them.
Everything is grounded in some sense of reality, though.
It is. Everything we make up. Even the paintings you do have some kind of influence from times before. The clothes I make draw on other decades and new fabrics and crossovers. All the books that are written. Frankenstein, who's to say that a part of it isn't actually based in reality? Of an actual doctor who tried to bring a body back to life after stitching it together from dozens others. Who's to say that a piece of Bram Stoker's Dracula isn't true? A cover-up so that the masquerade and the Camarilla could remain a secret and be accepted in some degree by the average kind that walks at night and has no idea we exist. There is a little truth in everything. So who knows? Maybe you were created to protect something. It's probably not a church. I would not call the Chantry that. It's probably not the Garden of Eden. Also would not call the Chantry that.
That is the only thing that I am sure of. Is that while I do not know who or when or even where I was made, or for what purpose, the one thing that stays with me is that I am and can and will protect. I feel it all of the time, even with all of the times that you helped me. I felt it first when I stood in front of Betty with that man with a gun. And I felt it again when I saw the woman being shot, and it's only compounded by my skin.
And again, he kind of like lets that stone ripple up and forward, and you see the jaw becomes a bit more dominant and protrudes further. You see like the high arches on the lower orbitals. It just echoes with him.
I am not a Nosferatu, and I am not like either of you. I have wings, and I can protect, and I know that I need to.
Do you know that you're very lucky, David? Do you want to know why? Because even if you can't fill your Venn diagram in and you don't have all the answers, you have purpose. And you know your purpose. Most of the people that you meet out on the streets, even the kindred, never find their purpose.
I hope that I am more than just to protect, but it does fulfill me.
I will tell you something. I have told my boys, it was told to me by my mother, you can be anything you want to be. You are not defined by what people tell you you are. I was told I would never have respect in the Italian family because I was a prostitute. The second wife. I was told my name would never be on the bank accounts because it was his money. I was told I'd never rise to anything. I think what I'm trying to say is that you can be whatever you want to be. If you want to be a protector, then be one. If you want to carve stone, go carve it. Stop waiting on permission, because it's never going to get you anywhere. That being said, you still need to know the rules.
Is it a part of the rules that I have to be clothed all the time?
Unfortunately, that is the rule of general society, not kindred society. There are certain places where you can let it all hang free. Like I said, inside the walls of this house, dangle away, baby.
Then at Elysium, am I required to wear clothing?
Elysium is somewhat of a safer space. Some people use Elysium to show off their best clothes, in fact, but not everybody. I don't know that we've ever had anybody show up naked. Elspeth, you ever seen a naked? No. Clothes are probably highly suggested, but it is also considered the safest place to be yourself. Though, you cannot use any of your powers or abilities at Elysium. That gets you in trouble. That's a no-no.
What of my wings, then?
Well, your wings are a part of you. That's like me asking, hey, don't walk in the door with your feet. I can't help it. I was born with them. They look like this when they came out the womb. You know what I'm saying? So your wings are just a part of you, but
But my stone, I
yeah,
cannot
your
use.
stoniness you cannot use. In fact, you've seen me use abilities. The stuff that Elspeth just did, she can't do that kind of stuff at Elysium. I can't, look people in the eyes and tell them what to do. We have to be ourselves and put our powers to the side. It's a great equalizer.
I do not think that you like telling people what to do. I see that it a part of it feels good, but there is a small part that hurts you.
That's because I was told what to do a lot in my life. It wasn't my own for 15 years. And then, just like you, I decided to make my own destiny.
I hope that you never have to tell me what to do like that.
Yeah, me too, honey. But every day's a new day. And just like with my son, in the end, it was the right thing. He wouldn't have slept all night. He would have been too scared. And in the end, he didn't feel anything. I solved that solution another way and let him sleep all night long. So in the end, even if I have to tell you what to do to control a situation, I can assure you I'd be doing it for your best interest. And those around you. Whether that gives you comfort or not, just know Janet's never going to do you wrong.
And as Janet kind of like leaves that laying, there's a knock at the front door.
Oh, God damn it. Stay here.
As you walk over very quickly and peek out the window, it's actually not a kindred-related individual at all,
Oh.
but a mortal you've met with a few times, a lawyer of the family.
Fuck. The lawyers.
Oh boy.
Okay.
A man by the name of Vinny Teresi.
Oh, not
Vinny Teresi.
Vinny.
yeah,
I was
good
going to
old-
go Vinny, baby.
Oh, there's that beautiful face. And as he reaches in and kind of gives the hug or what have you.
Yeah, we do our Italian family kiss. Yeah.
Yeah. As he walks in and you kind of usher him in with a smile and the door shuts, our camera will stay with the door. So as the door shuts, we cut to black.
Oh, fuck.
We'll be back next week. Hey, you need information for the family. This is probably
It's
who's
true.
got
Oh,
that
that's good.
information for you.
Nobody likes it when the lawyer shows up at the door. That's like possible worst case scenario.
No,
Yeah.
this is not that. He would. It wouldn't be a pleasant greeting. That pleasant of a greeting
If
from
it
him
was-
if it
okay.
was more you're in trouble. No, you put out some feelers, and this is the man who's bringing you the information. But we'll see. That we'll open with that conversation next week. You're here next week, right? Yeah.
I am here next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the week after I won't be here, so we're good. Actually, everybody won't be here, so we'll announce it now. 4th of July here in the States.
Yeah,
We're
we'll be
taking it
out, we'll
off.
be out.
Supposedly,
That's-
there's a country we're supposed to celebrate.
Yeah.
That's 3 weeks away, actually. Or so second.
Oh, is it?
So like next week, the following week.
Oh, that's
and
right.
then
I'm
it's
in
4th of July.
Philadelphia. So I'm in Philadelphia. So yes, I'm here next week, but not the week after, Mathis, and then we all have the next week off. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
basically, we've got
we'll
2
figure it out.
weeks before we cut entirely for that one break weekend, but we'll get you.
All right, we're off to do an after show. Thank you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
for hanging out, supporting us. Maggie, I hope you get your internet back soon. We miss you.
Becky.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
guys.